Welcome, folks, to our socially distanced Christmas special.
That's it, those sleigh bells ringing and ting, ting, ting-a-ling,
Ding-a-ling-a-ling, ding-dong-ding.
I think that is part of the intro for the last 3 Pubcast Christmas specials. You two singing that song.
But I didn't take it up a notch by wearing a Santa beard and go.
Was it you and Kerry Doyle? Okay, all right. Well, look,
Yeah.
Jill, you're perfectly fine at doing it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take it up a notch by going ho ho ho.
Yeah.
I have a Santa beard. That's as festive as I get.
So welcome to the Pubcast Christmas special. This is going to be, I don't know how long it's going to be. It's going to be merriment. It's going to be reflecting on the year that we've had. We're going to be drinking. We're going to be talking about all the nerd shit that we've done over the last 12 months. And yeah, just Christmas and everything. We made it. Yay. As always, I'm Wayne.
I'm Kim.
I'm Darren.
And I'm Jill.
There we go. And the great thing is that I can now point at each of you in turn and say, now say your name, say your name, say your name. So this is going to be recorded via Zoom. And then it's also going to be part of our podcast feed as well. So it'll be up on YouTube and it'll be up on the Spotify's and the Stitchers and all the places that you find good podcasts and us. So, I mean,
let's see that notification squad. We're YouTubers now, yeah?
I think so. I don't know. I don't understand.
In the swamp outside?
Yeah, I don't understand. I've never understood how social media works, and I think after doing this,
okay.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, right?
You just do some life hacks. Darren has to do something with slime.
Okay.
Jill, are you okay for a haunted house, or do you want fidget spinner material? I mean,
No, haunted house is good. It's kind of in my wheelhouse.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to do TikTok dances and fall off things while yelling.
Okay. Yeah. That could work. I mean, if that's what the kids are into nowadays, I suppose. But I mean, I think if for anyone that's been following us for as long as we've been doing this, at the start of December of this year, we officially had our 10th birthday of Pubcast. So Pubcast has been going for 10 years in some form or another with multitude of cast changes. But we have been going for 10 years. Which is
like the Spice Girls.
It's pretty fucking nuts if you think about it.
That's pretty cool.
It is, and like
Energizer Bunny.
Yeah. It's like it's the Energizer Bunny now with a fucking kidney failure probably, but it's a case of that for something that's been fan driven and had as people as dedicated as we all are to this thing of whatever the fuck it is, to be able to last for 10 years.
Yeah,
it's pretty impressive, I think, because most people would be like, they do it for a short period of time, get bored with it, and then fuck off and do something else. But Pubcast has been a consistent thing, and I think it's testament to everyone that's been involved, how much effort we all put into it, like how much fun we have doing it as well, because it's a hell of a lot of fun.
I think it's a testament to us that the Pubcast has kept going despite the fact that pubs have been closed since March.
Yeah,
we have to do our part.
The pubs in Ireland, can you believe that's a thing that happened?
I think there was a news article I read back when everyone like the UK and America were going, sure, it's grand. Like when they were saying, sure, it's grand. There was articles going, they closed the pubs in Ireland for Paddy's Day, lads. We'll just cop the fuck on. This is serious. You know what I mean? Like,
we're not drinking on Paddy's Day.
Yeah, and it's now it's like the pubs in Ireland have been closed for 9 months.
Yeah,
you know, this is bad, lads.
But it is good to us that we still can find a way to get hammered. So you know.
I live above an off license. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like I mean, it's not as if like the fucking end the world didn't end. It was a case of they just closed the pubs, lads. Come on. So we are still able to get booze, but
we are highly. You know, those people who think that liking the 60s is a personality. I mean, Irish people liking the pub is a personality trait, and one that many of us have ridden through the gates of hell and tried to pass off as some sort of bold move. But yeah, we've had to diversify.
Yeah, and
in our house.
I don't see the problem with it. Like, well, I do see the problem with it. I think a lot of people are out of work, and a lot of people are like the pub industries. We know people who work in the pub industries and work in the nightlife entertainment thing, and they've been struggling, and like my heart goes out to them. And I think that for any GoFundMe or any like money raising situation that is like, I think we've all tried to help out in any way we can. But it's been tough. But the fact that like we know we haven't done many pubcasts since the start of the year, but we've tried to do a few. We have done the Pubcast plays Dungeons and Dragons to keep us going and to keep people entertained, and hopefully people have enjoyed it. It's been a hell of a ride to do that. We were doing that like since, I think it was since summer of last year we were doing it, and we had to readjust going into this to you do it over Zoom, which thankfully the technology held to a degree, and we're able to do it. But I think we were very lucky as nerds to have so many outlets during all of this, and so many things that could keep our heads above water and keep her slightly as sane as we could be. Because I think people's need for entertainment, even after saying that the pubs and nightlife was dead, people's need for entertainment was still there. And at the start of all of this, I remember back in March, entertainment companies and game companies stepped up to a degree. There was a lot of free stuff put up online. Like Dungeons and Dragons themselves, like Wizards of the Coast put up a lot of free stuff online. Epic Games, Steam. Well, I don't think Steam did it, but Epic Games did it. There was and they still do it. Every Thursday, there's 2 free games released on Epic Games, the games platform. And you can just basically, all you need to do is have a login. You log in, you claim your free game. And they weren't messing around. In the first week, they gave Grand Theft Auto 5 away for free for PC. They gave away Borderlands 2. Like, there's a lot of stuff out there that like people that love what we love kind of stepped up and were like, here, look,
I've said it before. I think Niantic, the makers of Pokemon Go, did more and were more prepared than most world governments for this. They changed the game. They literally changed their game completely to adapt the idea that you had to Pokemon stay at home. And they were free shit, contact, long distance trading, long distance battles. They just did the damn thing, and I'm like, oh, that'd be great. You should run Sweden, maybe.
Yeah.
That was a herd immunity slam. She's coming down out of the gate. Bam.
From a hobby perspective, like, it's weird that currently it's not going to last long, but currently at the moment, probably every person that plays a tabletop game has all their armies painted because they weren't able to do anything else. Well, that won't last for a while. Sorry, that won't last long, but it is scary, you know.
Wow, that's true.
Yeah, and I think
take a global pandemic to get to the end of your collection, wouldn't it?
Indeed.
Yeah, and I think it's like, and where we're lucky that we had bastions of light in the situation like that, where we had Gamers World in Dublin City, and even to a certain extent the support of Dublin City Comics, because they supported us with Pubcast plays Dungeons and Dragons all the way through all of this, and they continue to do what they're doing, and hopefully with the help of their patrons and the community that they keep going, as well as any small business that deal with tabletop gaming, comic books, video games, all that type of stuff. Like, the small businesses have needed all of our support, and hopefully they will stay afloat as long as they can going into whatever form of recovery we see on the far side of this. I just think we were very lucky to have outlets, and I think that's the thing that I like to focus on, because I was thinking the other day, like, when it comes to the end of 2020 and you're going to see people online going, oh, what a fucking year, fuck this year, kick it to the curb, 2021. It's these things aren't going to go away straight away into 2021. It's going to continue on for a bit. And there's going to be hard times ahead to get through some certain situations. But I think what needs to be happened here, I think we need to adapt. Personally, I think we need to adapt a thing of being thankful for what we had to get us through 2020. Yeah. And I think for me, it was obviously my family, my wife, my daughter, you guys, and everything we did. Even with Pubcast plays Dungeons and Dragons, and even off camera when we were playing our own individual game, as often as we could play it. I've had a weekly gaming session with a bunch of friends, with Stephen Mooney, Jamie T, and Adam Kelly, that we played video games throughout this entire thing, and that kept me afloat. Video games, I think, were responsible for keeping a lot of people afloat.
What do you
Because
Animal Crossing? Did you say Animal Crossing?
Animal Crossing.
that's what I'm saying. Like, we could talk about the titles. So let's talk about the titles that really helped. Like, Animal Crossing came out at a time, I think, just when everyone was starting to realize how impactful this is going to be.
Gentle life simulation, kindness, productivity, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful soundscapes, and it's just heaven. Guys, do you know I've logged more hours in Animal Crossing than Naomi has?
Wow.
Come on.
That's crazy.
Come on. That's really crazy.
That's crazy, crazy.
I mean, arguably because she plays other games as well.
This is true, and also, no offense to you, Kim. Like, I mean, like, your two kids as well. They're big into it. They're playing it too, and Naomi's also working, and also, being an amazing artist and having a fantastic Etsy store that's thankfully seems like it's been quite popular over the holidays.
But I would literally turn around to my husband with a kind of faraway look in my eye at the end of a hard day where schools were closed and just go, I'm going to go to Manusica. And I would just go, and I'd say, I'm just going to go to the airport. I'm just going to, and it was literally being transported. And I cannot thank the developers enough for the painstaking work they put into that game, because it just keeps giving. And I'm going to shut up, or it's going to be me talking about Animal Crossing for another fucking hour.
That's perfectly okay, because that's the point of this. Like, it's a case of it's to exude joy for what actually we have enjoyed this year, which, in spite of everything, for me, I know, speaking for myself, a lot of hardship, but I had a lot of good as well because of people like ourselves, and also things that I was able to enjoy in the comfort of between my four walls here in my house. Because I don't know how many other people were like this, but I couldn't leave my house. I can't leave my house. I'm on a high risk list, so I can't leave. I have to stay home. So I've been working from home. I'm very lucky that I have a job, full-time job, outside of everything else that I do, a full-time job that allows me to work from home and continues to support me while I'm working from home. I'm very thankful for that as well. A lot of people didn't have that, and it's been tough for a lot of people in that way. But I was one of the lucky ones. But also everything else, like, games dropped this year that I can now consider to be some of the best video games of all time. And for them to drop in this particular time frame to allow people that escapism. Now, sometimes the escapism wasn't exactly that apparent. The Last of Us 2 came out this year, which is all about the end of the world. Well, to a degree, it's an apocalyptic setting. It's in zombies and all that type of stuff. But that game came out and I got lost in it and enjoyed it from start to finish. I was emotionally...
The characters like you're playing it. It's actually weird. It wasn't until after I finished it that someone kind of remembered. Yeah, they were like, did you enjoy that zombie game? And I'm like, what zombie game? The Last of Us 2. Oh yeah, it has that, doesn't it? Because you're more focusing on the characters and seeing what's going to happen to them, and then a zombie will get in the way and you'll kill it and go away from me, I'm doing something important. But whereas other people will be like, where's all the zombies? I want to kill them. But you don't need it in that type of game, because as I said, the story, you're one find out everything.
Yeah. And like, I went from that, then playing through that and finishing that. Just after that was done, Ghost of Tsushima was released, which is just fucking masterpiece of a game. But on top of that, then I had other situations that I was playing with the lads every week. We were playing all sorts of different games, picking up different titles, playing the Switch, playing Animal Crossing to a degree as well, although not as much as yourself and Naomi, but I was still playing it. But I mean, like, it's like, I'm sure, Jill, your vinyl collection I think your vinyl collection early on.
Oh yeah.
I didn't have.
She can quit anytime, guys.
Yeah, it's not an addiction.
I didn't have a vinyl collection. I started off. I blame Liam Brown. We went to Record Store Day last summer, and he was like, "Oh, there's one or two that I want to get, and sure, we'll have a look while we're there, and see what else they have." And I found the Singles soundtrack on vinyl, and it is
holy shit.
It is one of my all.
Have For Jill written on it.
Like, Singles is one of my all-time favorite movies. For anybody who hasn't watched it, fucking watch it. It was made in the early 90s. Pearl Jam are in it. Alice in Chains are in it. Fucking Soundgarden are in it.
Chris Cornell turns up at one point.
Well, what I was going to say is Eddie Vedder is in Matt Dillon's band.
Yeah.
Chris Cornell has a small part in it as well. But it's all that music. Kira Sedgwick is one of the leads in it, and she's brilliant. But yeah, so it was that on. Is it on double? I think it's on double vinyl. And I had it for ages, and I didn't have a record player. And Liam updated his system and gave me his old one. And then when lockdown happened in March, I, like yourself, Wayne, I'm very lucky that I've been able to work from home this entire time. And I was like, I'm not spending money in the pub. What am I going to do? Oh, maybe I'll go with some vinyl. I now have, so there are these strong boxes, gorilla boxes they're called, and they fit about 100 records, and I filled 2 of them, and there's about 20 sitting outside of them.
That's impressive.
The last few that I got are actually still in their cellophane because I have like a stack of them that I have to listen to. But I started off buying the best, my favorite album by bands. So, you know, obvious ones like I'm, you know, when people say, oh, do you prefer tenor verses? I'm a verses person, but now I have both of them. I was like, oh, I have to get Disintegration on vinyl, and because that's their best album. But then I also need to get Pornography, and I really need to get Dead in the Door. And you have to. And I am going to buy Wish and Kiss 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 as well because they're amazing albums. But yeah, so and I actually have records of artists that I don't have on CD, but I'm like, if I'm gonna buy, you know, one of theirs, like I bought Lizzo because I Love You because it's a banging album. Janelle Monáe, like artists that I've only really listened to in the last couple of years, and I'm like, I'm fucking buying their LP. So yeah, so that's my little thing there. Like quite often on a Saturday night, I'll be here with my bottle of wine, trusty wine. If the Lost Art podcast is on, I'll listen to the guys talk Scudder and play tunes, talk with Kim and the others in the chat, and then listen to more records till stupid o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
This is the Lost Art radio show on Saturday night. Wayne's games that he runs, and these people that are just giving their time. And maybe to keep themselves sane too, but Jesus Christ, for the people among us that don't create things, oh my God, thank you so much.
Thank I know, so right? Much.
Yeah, when I was laid off for a few months, I was skint, but I wanted to like reach out to people that were legitimately making my life better. So I sent some of my vinyl to other people.
You sent me some.
I did. I sent Kate Bush to you, and
Depeche Mode.
I did, yes. And I sent Axel.
I mean, it's no secret, Jill, that Kim has always wanted to send you the D anyway, so it's fine. So, it's grand.
I slid her some DM.
She did
into her DMs, but I just people that were just doing so much. And I'm just so grateful because I would have squandered my fucking life. It's fair enough. Just like compulsive eating is a mammy's poison. That's the mammy's addiction because you have to be ready to drive someone to a hospital at any fucking time. So you can't properly just get loose at home. So, you know, just eat shit. Just eat shit. It's fine. Nobody gives a fuck what you look like anymore. So you're not drawing stairs while you're walking around fucking woodies in your fleece. So like, just eat shit. And that's the addiction of choice for Maz and that. Lads, I was videoed today. I was being surreptitiously videoed today in KFC.
Oh.
And I am so interested to know what the fuck I was doing to draw the phone. You know, the kind of sneaky kind of like I'm just looking at my phone, but it's at a stupid angle, so you know they're taking a picture of you. Or
maybe it's some guy who's just at the Maz that eat. I don't know.
Oh maybe it was somebody who was convinced you were somebody they knew, and they were like, "I'm gonna have to take a picture of her."
And they didn't have their glasses with them, so they used the Zoom on the phone and went, "Oh, I don't know them."
You're kind, but if I turn into a meme, which is this MILF devours chicken, then like you heard it here first.
But hang on a
It
second, Kim.
originated
You
here.
said it yourself there, right? At least I called you a MILF.
Yeah.
No, I don't know that. I could end up in look at this 60-year-old idiot in KFC. What's she doing? Also, I think I had low battery life, so I didn't use my Bluetooth headphones, so I just used these. So maybe it was just like, holy fuck, who has wires on their thing?
Or maybe he didn't know what the technology was.
Maybe that's enough these days. You know, people have to make content. You know.
What you think? Your KFC exploits now are just on TikTok somewhere?
It'd be the shittest TikTok ever. Maybe like.
You clearly haven't seen that much TikTok. It's all garbage anyway.
You lose time in that place.
Some good shit on it.
There's the Ocean Spray guy who got like a truck from Ocean Spray. That dude, which is pretty awesome. Like that type of shit has been happening to people throughout the year, where like these random acts of kindness.
I'm gonna be the next bad luck Brian. So I just want to let you guys know now, tonight, it's fresh off I'm gonna be a meme. Lonely looking, I don't know what age she is. I think I was laughing.
Maybe somebody will post it and just say finger licking good underneath it or something. I don't know.
Oh, I wish.
You know the way when
I was 23, I'd be like, yes. I'd be like, what do you want? But
you always go when you go and have food with someone and you're ordering and whatnot, and the food comes, it's always the other person has the best food. Maybe like you had the best KFC and they were like, I have to take a picture of that for proof.
Oh, lads, I was dipping my Philip burger in my gravy.
Isn't that what you're meant to be doing now? Aren't they promoting that in ads now? It's all about the gravy.
Maybe you're not supposed to be a woman and do it. Maybe you're not supposed to be an old woman and do it.
Fuck 'em.
There's none of this supposed to anything. You do what you want.
Yeah.
Do what you want.
Do what you want. Fucking eat that gravy. Drink it like fucking tea if you want.
Drink it. Yeah.
Oh no, gravy tea.
There's an advert out there for KFC where there's a dude trying to be posh and he's in some smoking jacket and he's drinking gravy like a cup of tea. KFC gravy like a cup of tea.
I seen an advert there on the telly yesterday, and it's from China, and apparently it's telling people on Christmas Day to go and have KFC, and apparently now I didn't continue watching it to see if it was a joke or something, but the person was saying, no, this is true. In China, advertisement in the 70s, we were tricked into thinking that Americans go to KFC on Christmas Day, and now apparently that's what they do. And I was just sitting there. I switched to the channel, but I was like, wow. KFC on Christmas Day in China, that could be cool. You know?
Well, I saw Goodfellas, like frozen pizza advertising itself as a Christmas dinner main today on an interactive ad, and I felt like crying in RoboCop. Like it was just like it was like a guy like with his carving knives and like ready to carve
I saw
up
that,
the seasonal beast.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then he lifts it up and it's a shitty, bad, low quality pizza. And they're like, give them this instead.
With turkey?
Yeah, give them the squits for Christmas.
Who do we think the market is for that one?
Fuck if I know.
Frozen pizza.
Fuck if I know.
If we're talking about good stuff and what got us through the year, obviously bar our adventures into Wildmount has been awesome, but also like audiobooks for me, because I have like I stupidly years ago tried to read The Wheel of Time and got as far as book 5. So I
sounded Robert Jordan. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm a slow reader, but I have attempted book 5 like 3 times in my lifetime. And the 4th time I tried to do it through audiobook, and I've succeeded, and I've been going ever since. But because they're so damn big, you know, like it takes kind of a month of listening if you're only listening to it an hour a day. But I'm at book 9, and in the summer I will continue. I've stopped to listen to. I'm listening to Drizzt Do'Urden books again. There's like over 26 of them now. Yeah. But that what also got me through was painting. I was joking earlier on. Like I have managed to paint 1 full orc army. I've managed to, which I'm chuffed. I started a Necron army when I was 15, and I finally got a bit. 27 years maybe.
Jesus
finally
Christ,
got it all done.
How big was that army?
I loved evil robots. So you know, I started Necrons back when I was a kid. Stopped. I actually still, when I'm playing, I use some of the original ones I painted because like I'm a shitty painter, but they're not that bad, you know. But and then
You're not a shitty painter. I've seen them. You posted them.
Thanks, Kim. But I've done, as I said, the joke is that we're living in a time now where I don't think anybody doesn't have, you know, an army fully painted, which is like a great time to be alive in. We'll look back at this as a golden era for, like, you know, tabletop gaming. It's
you're going to go to the next tournament, Darren, and everyone's going to have these immaculate fucking armies, like, that are all going to look amazing.
Yeah.
And any newbie that's coming into it's going to be so fucking intimidated. They'll be like,
Or they won't. But the funny thing is, they'll all be gathered, and it's like, what's going on? It's like, we can't remember how to play. There's something to do with these things called dice, and these big huge tomes. I think they're rule books, but that's it. It's like, but and then I got a bunch of stuff from
No, I was gonna. A mate of mine was trying to paint up his army for a tournament that was the next day. So he spent the whole day painting, but he had a little bit left to do, and he was going to do it that night. But instead of just continuing and finishing it and then going to bed, him and another friend of mine decided to watch Sharp, Sean Bean, and drink rum in accordance with the drinking game they had for Sharp. And I think at one point it was every time a sword comes out or something. So they drank so much rum. I woke up the next day, the lad that was supposed to be at the tournament and wanted his army well painted. I don't even think he was, I think it was a painting competition. I don't even think he was like.
Oh God, really? That's even, you can win some awards for that type of stuff.
Right. So he put a full ton of work into this, and on the last day they did this Sharp drinking game. And I came down the next morning and he was asleep, half outside. His head was out on the patio. His feet were in the kitchen and it was raining.
Oh God. Oh God.
At least he didn't paint drinking now.
Rain on his face didn't wake him up, so he missed the tournament. So just watch out for that kind of thing. Don't get into a Sharp
of rum and Sean Bean.
See, that's the curse of Sharp, you see, because the curse of Sharp had the same effect on Paul McGann, because Paul McGann was originally cast as Sharp. On the first day of shooting, they played football at the lunch break and he broke his leg. And then he got carted home and was recast with Sean Bean in the lead.
Wow.
Bean.
I didn't know that.
There you go.
I've never watched Sharp.
Sharp is great. The books are very good. The books are old school, like, you know,
adventuring books.
They're adventuring books, but they're adventuring books that your dad could read, you know. But they're very good, and the series is cracking. It's probably, if you watch it now and you've no real knowledge of it previously, it'll probably seem a bit aged. But Sean Bean is Sean Bean in it, like, and he's proper.
Was he dying it?
It's a period piece anyway, isn't it? So
it is a period piece, yeah. And
I've never watched Sharp, but it's always gotten my attention when I'm flicking through.
Watch it. It's good. Sharp is good.
Yeah,
it is a good. It is
anything with Sean Bean in it, I'll watch it.
Yeah, like those. There's a load of those classic shows that they're technically of their time, but they're also fantastic for their time. So you have Sharp.
Yeah.
Another one for me personally, and this is because I'm such a fucking weeaboo, is Shogun starring Richard Chamberlain, which is like the ultimate box sets for dads, and I can now officially say it is the ultimate box set for dads because I'm a dad. But here's the kicker for Shogun.
You were always a dad, Wayne. You always had this, like, me too. Like my Western collection and shit gives me away as a bit of a dad, and my Cracker box set is a bit of a man before I was a man. But, yeah, I've never seen Shogun.
Shogun is great because it's kind of like it's Richard Chamberlain actually acting well, and it's a really good story overall.
Was that a Richard Chamberlain slam?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because we've all seen the fucking King Solomon's Mines rip off of fucking Indiana Jones, yes. With Sharon Stone in it, as his bit of muff. But Shogun is actually very good, and it has some really good actors in it, like Japanese actors in it that actually got to act on the Western stage. So no, I highly recommend it. Here's the thing about Shogun. I had a box set of it and I loved it. So I figured, you know what? My dad would love this show. My dad is a fucking horrible person to buy Christmas presents for, because he thinks when you buy him a present, it's like he's renting it from you. So you give him a gift and about 6 months later, he'll give it back to you. to say
No
no.
way.
So he says, no, I've watched that now. It's fine. It's like, no, Dad, but it's yours.
Like, no, it was a present, you man.
Yeah. He says, no, Dad, I gave that to you for Christmas. Like, that's your Christmas present. He says, but I've watched it. I won't watch it again.
But you might keep it.
No, he doesn't. My dad only rewatches certain films. He has a certain movies and a certain TV shows he will rewatch till he dies. Very set in his ways. And I gave him Shogun after I had it and I'd seen it multiple times. I said, my dad would really like this. He might even sit through the subtitle parts, maybe. But I gave him the copy of Shogun. I says, Richard Chamberlain's in it, Dad. You like him? And he was like, oh yeah, I know that face. And he watched it. And again, 6 months later, he was like, there you go, you can have that back. And I was like, no, Dad, that was a Christmas present. I have my copy of Shogun. He did it with
so funny.
the worst offense of it, which I was shocked by. I gave him Band of Brothers on DVD for Christmas one year.
Holy shit.
Nice.
And I gave it to him and he watched it. He says, that was one of the best things I've ever watched. Here you go, you can have it back.
No.
No, Dad, it's a Christmas gift.
It's yours,
you own that. You own it forever. That is yours. You can, so
Yeah, I do think about I haven't watched Band of Brothers again.
My stepdad, I've lost count of the amount of times he's watched Band of Brothers. I think he watches it at least once a year. Yeah. And because a member of the 101st was a family friend of ours, there's an extra attachment to it. So Sergeant Ed Tipper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Pat met him at a convention a number of years ago. I became really good friends with him and his wife and his daughter. His daughter is actually in the House of Representatives in Denver. She's a badass. But Ed was just a lovely, lovely man. And he parachuted into Omaha Beach on D-Day and had to be invalided back to the UK because there was a shell that went off and
Jesus.
broke a leg, lost an eye, all that kind of stuff. But he was such a lovely man to just sit and talk, not necessarily about war stuff, but just sit and listen and chat to. And I got to meet him once when himself and his family came over to Ireland a couple of years ago because, oh God, it's more than a couple of years ago now. It must be 5 years ago at least. And his folks were originally from Ireland. It was Pat is gas at least once a year he watches Band of Brothers all the way through because he's like, it's so good. And the fact that there's all the interviews with the actual guys on it as well, and it's done so well, and the production value is fantastic.
You'd be due a rewatch by the time you get to the end of it.
It's not actually that long. It really isn't that long. It's I think it's 10 episodes. I think it's 10.
Pacific then as well, isn't there? There's that.
The Pacific I have the Pacific as well. It's good, but it's not as good as Band of Brothers. Band of Brothers is fucking iconic. But I mean, I think personally think Band of Brothers is probably the best miniseries of all time. Hands down.
So
it's so well acted.
Then, given it, that's my husband's favorite thing in the world.
What?
Well,
I've never seen it, and it's my husband's favorite thing in the world.
Oh wow! Definitely watch it. Give him a Christmas gift and sit down and say to him, "Let's watch Band of Brothers over Christmas."
Because my brother, I still remember the box set.
I think this is I don't know if it's because I'm a woman or a fucking hippie, but the futility of war takes me out of a film.
Right.
The idea that this would start because two people couldn't fucking work it out takes me out of it. And so the only war film I've ever seen Platoon, I've never seen, and the only war films I like, I've seen Full Metal Jacket because I feel like that's not a war movie. I feel like that's just pop culture. I feel like that's just a film. And The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where there is no real war in it, and it's pretty and it's the characters think it's stupid. The characters think the war is stupid.
I have a movie for you that's war. I'll tell you in a minute. That's war adjacent.
I thought you were going to say, "I have a movie for you, fatty." A bridge too far.
I just
never seen that either. Never seen Bridge over the River Kwai. Never seen The Iron Cross. Never seen the Blue Max, which my father is in. I can't. The idea that
you can't stand him.
I can't stand it. The diplomatic failure that leads to war means that I can watch Inglourious Basterds because it's literally just a dream. Quentin Tarantino had. It has no base. Anything that's realistically properly done, I can't. I've never seen Apocalypse Now.
I'll send you. It was a stage show, but then it was made into a movie that Treat Williams and Beverly D'Angelo were in. It's called Hair. It's called Hair.
Oh, Hair, yes.
Have you seen Hair?
Oh, I've seen productions of Hair. Not.
I like that's one of my favorite musicals, and it is sort of war adjacent. But it's got some very, very funny songs.
It has.
Yeah, I mean, how the hell did we get onto that? But anyway,
I lived with Wayne. And I've seen fuck all war movies. How does this happen in life?
Well, I never forced films onto people. I just said, do you just want to watch this or do you just want to watch this? I never said you have to watch this because those type of people are dickheads. You know, so like, you know, I'm going to make you sit down and watch this movie. Even if you don't fucking like it, you're going to watch it. Because I want the aggravation of being the person that showed this movie to you.
Yeah.
What if I still hate it?
Yeah, like, I mean, I have done that. In fairness, I will put my hand up and say there's been the odd situation with Irene that I've said, look, this is one of my all-time favorite films. So, you know, and she sat there and went, yeah, it was all right.
See, I couldn't handle that, so I don't, because I'm such a coward, I don't put myself forward. Here's one of the biggest Pubcast. Oh, she's my biggest Pubcast Christmas party regret. Something I play over and over and over in my head is because I don't have many of them because I fucking love the Pubcast Christmas party, which this also is. Anyway, we were in the teachers club. We were all feeling our oats, and there was a new girl, and I was feeling extra oaty. And I turned around to the new girl and I'm like, yeah, come on, let's go dance. Presuming that all women can and want to dance, which is, you know, sexism. So shame on you, Kim. But our new friend can't really dance. She has an illness that means it would hurt a lot, but I didn't know that. And I put her in a position where I'm like, welcome to this room full of people you just met. Be a dry shite in front of them while I look like the most fun in the world. And I feel like such a prick, lads. It was also the same night I performed a stunning ballet duet with Wayne to Jewel of the Fates.
Yeah,
that was pretty spectacular, I have to say.
Yeah.
And we sissied our walk as well.
We did.
Oh, we did sissy all of the walks.
We sissied all
shout out to Lisa Marie. I am so sorry. I just thought you looked like the most crack. And because I'm 9 years old, I thought I know how to have fun and only one way to do it. So let's do that. So I played that moment back to myself over and over again. I'm like,
I doubt she took it personally.
No, she definitely
I'm after getting the flashback. You've seen that picture she put up of me if I was in Silence of the Lambs, right?
No.
You never seen that of me in the corset that she drew? Because I did I think
have seen that.
We were talking.
Yeah.
And I said,
I do remember that, yeah.
Instead of saying, you know, the obvious line is, would you fuck me? I'd fuck me. I think I said something like, would you buy me Gundams? I'd buy me Gundams. And that got posted on my feed. And what I forgot to say to Lisa, it was, you know, I've got a lot of aunts that look at that picture and did.
Repost.
Oh God! But no, I got off lightly. Only one aunt's seen it, so
it's it's a fantastic drawing of Darren, and I think I nearly like the nipples are definitely out. It's like
I look hot.
You've got a corset on, like it's the whalebone corset, and like I want to say the suspenders in there somewhere, but
there is. It's very complimentary on how I look wearing one of them. I was very happy.
It was pretty fantastic, and you were rocking it. But see, in my mind, I was getting mixed up with some things. In some versions in my head of that picture, I think you have nipple tassels on, and then other versions you don't. It depends on what mood.
I haven't mind it, but I will, and it might go on the feed, or I might just send it in the chat.
I mean, you're a creative, you know. Your mind just you know, take it, adapt it, modify it with your own. Put your own
my own
spin
twist.
on it, you know, literally spinning.
I think I even showed in my old job. I showed a work colleague, and like he still hasn't retained his site yet. But we're still hoping. No, I got on well with the guy, and we were this was like a couple of months later, and we were chatting about funny, embarrassing things. And I said, "Oh yeah, there's that picture of me that a friend put up on Facebook." And he's like, "What?" And he goes, "I don't want to show you this because you won't get it out of your mind, or
you'll never
you'll constantly think of it, and it'll just get awkward, and I'll have to say sorry, I'm just not that into you." And no, he went blind. No, I'm not joking. But he laughed his arse off, and he did say, like I said, that was very complimentary on how well I looked. So
yeah, no, you carried it well. So there was one thing that seemed to kind of get to everyone this year regarding cinema, was that obviously the fact that most cinemas were closed for a long period of time. But Christopher Nolan's Tenet came out and got a cinematic release. I've seen it.
I haven't.
I didn't see it in the cinema.
Yet,
yeah, I didn't see it in the cinema. Obviously, I watched it at home. The Blu-rays was released, and I got the Blu-rays.
Right.
And I tried to put out of my mind that everyone kept saying that this was the film that was going to save cinema for 2020, when it looks like Wonder Woman 1984 is going to be the film that's going to save cinema for 2020. But because the reviews have been through the roof, bar one website that have said it was alright. But I watched Tenet, and regardless of whether you should see it in the cinema or whatever, I think a film should stand on its own merit outside of a large screen. Okay, so the size of the screen should not impact on how much you enjoy a movie. And you should still be able to enjoy that film for its story points and its acting at home.
Yeah.
So, and I've got a pretty big TV, and it's 4K and all the malark. So, I didn't have any other money to I didn't have anything else to spend my money on. Like, I didn't go boozing either.
You've got your own cinema now.
God damn it!
It's not that I had spare money. I was saving.
Like, we're in this house till next June. That's
exactly. Like, I wasn't going anywhere. We didn't have any conventions. I didn't have to pay for printing.
I know. I bought no art. We had no expenses for books. I didn't spend meeting celebrities.
Yeah, we didn't go. Like, we didn't have Top Bubble. We didn't have Dublin Comic Con. These are all negatives for sure.
I still had petrol, and I still had kids growing out of their fucking clothes.
I had that. I had that as well. That expense was still there as well. But the thing about it is that when it came to
what's the Tenet tea?
So am I the only one out of the four of us that's seen this?
I thought for a second that David Tennant had released a biography.
Yeah.
I'm amazed there hasn't been a Boss Logic redo of the Tenet poster with Dr. 10 in it, Tenet.
That would be awesome.
It's
my doctor.
Yeah, he's a lot of people's doctor. Earlier on today,
just to go on a complete segue, apparently on Twitter recently, some girl said she would love for David Tennant to rail on her, and Georgia Moffat replied with, "He's so old he doesn't know what that means." I'm like, I love how much she trolls her husband online.
Oh, she does. It's amazing.
She's so brilliant.
She's so good at it. But there was I saw a reshare of an old tweet that she put up of when it was like, it's from last year, where herself and David were over in her dad's house, and her dad is Pete Davidson.
Yes.
And they were changing a light bulb in the house, and she takes a photograph, puts it on how many doctors it takes to change a light bulb.
Yeah.
Because David Tennant is standing there pointing or standing there looking while Pete Davidson is trying to change the light bulb. So it looks like it takes the two of them to fucking do it.
Yeah.
But I only read this earlier on today, so it's the latest issue of the Doctor Who comic book with both Jodie Whittaker's and David Tennant's Doctor crossing over, and it's really good. This is from Titan Books.
Coming back to Big Finish as well, or am I getting that?
Mr. Eccleston is coming back to Big Finish.
David Tennant has already.
Well, David Tennant's been back there for ages. He started in Big Finish. If you're honest, he started. David Tennant's first foray into the world of Doctor Who was a World War II story for the Seventh Doctor, where he played a Nazi soldier.
Wow.
So there you go.
Is that Colditz?
Colditz, yeah, it was Colditz.
No way! How did I remember that?
Yeah.
Nothing like Wayne. Nothing about us without us. They should only be getting real Nazis.
Did you watch the stage thing?
Plenty of them still around. So.
Did you watch the TV show Staged, where they're like, it's just them playing themselves? That was a nugget of gold that got me through something like
season 2 in the new year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really?
So
Yeah.
this is the thing. This is what I'm saying about stuff that has helped us through everything that we've had to
My
deal with
2
this year.
boyfriends.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
both David Tennant and Michael Sheen doing
Doing
like it's like an equivalent of a Zoom call, but it was
a lovey off.
yeah.
Having a big bromance over Zoom as they play exaggerated versions of themselves doing a
It's
play.
It's great, and I
Yeah.
think it's probably the reason why I've inspired to let this kind of grow. It's just
Yes,
like, well,
'cause
he's
Michael
doing it,
Sheen
I
looks
can do it.
Their beard game in that show is spectacular, and it's so like they're
David-
half-hour episodes. There's
Yeah.
only 6
Yeah.
of them,
Yeah.
and they're
David
just
Tennant's knobbly knees in athleisure wear is now my official get down. Like officially. If he's in an ill-fitting hoodie with his little
the same hoodie,
street urchin fucking frame, I'm like, yes, please.
That never left you, Kim. You've always had that.
It's
It's just matured now to a level of legality. That's all it is.
He's my doctor, my gynecologist, more like. Sorry, I made that joke 6 minutes.
I have to say, it's funny how Kim's internet connection has suddenly gotten really fucking good. She starts, you know,
She was all like,
The doctor will say that.
yeah. He has literally lubricated your internet connection to make it run
Yeah,
smoothly.
there you go.
But yeah, like there's been a lot of stuff that has helped us get through what we've been doing, and like stuff like that where entertainers have improvised. The National Theatre in England pretty much, I think, helped a lot of the theatre lovies in the world, myself included, when they put a fucking moxie load of shows on week by week basis. They put up new shows every week, streamed on YouTube. I got to rewatch the 12th Night that myself and Irene went to see in London last summer, starring Gwendolyn Christie, and it was a phenomenal production. I highly recommend you track it down if it is available, because they put them online for a couple of weeks, I think, and then they took them down and then swapped it with something else. But now I think they have a system where you can actually go online and buy and watch it.
didn't she do A Midsummer Night's Dream as well?
Sorry, it was a Midsummer Night's Dream, not 12th Night. 12th Night was what's her name? Fran.
Oh, Tamsin Gray.
Tamsin Gray did the
Love
12th
her.
Night, I think it was. I think it was the 12th Night. And some of the cast members from A Midsummer's Night's Dream were in that with Tamsin Gray. But Midsummer's Night's Dream with Gwendolyn Christie as Titania was, it was amazing to actually, because we were in it was audience participation.
Nice.
So we were in the pit and they moved through the pit. And you were part of the show, basically.
Did she go in the pit? She's like, to quote Steven Universe, a giant woman.
She is a giant woman. I can completely confirm that she is an Amazon of a woman. She is unbelievably statuesque in person. Like, you know the way you always think, like, you know, these people have makeup artists, they have people that make them look this good, but there are some celebrities that when you meet them in person, and they're standing in front of you, you understand why they're celebrities. You understand why they're actors. You understand why they do the profession that they do, because they're so bloody gorgeous.
Striking.
Yeah.
Paul McGann has that.
Paul McGann has that. John Wesley Shipp has that as well.
Oh my God, that man. And he's so lovely.
So lovely. I think he played the Flash and he was Dawson's dad in Dawson's Creek.
Yes.
But John Wesley Shipp is like one of the nicest, most attractive people. Like, and I don't mean that he's good looking. His persona is attractive.
He just
He's
has
very
this aura
approachable.
about him.
Yeah.
And he just comes across so genuine. And just like, doesn't matter. Well, certainly my experience with him, and it would have been at the same con, you know, he was happy to talk to anybody, and you really felt when you were talking to him that he was interested in what you had to say.
He didn't feel like he wanted you to go so he could use. He was like very. It just made you feel good, you know. Like it was great. Because I was a big fan of I remember, I still have fond memories of sitting there on the telly watching the Flash, and to me, I kind of like was in my inner child was going, yay, you know.
Yeah.
So
no, he's a genuinely lovely person. So I mean, that type of an aura about them. Gwendolyn Christie had that.
Yeah.
So and even though it got close, there was moments where she was very close and she'd moved through you or moved past you, and you were kind of, the crowd were moving around the stage, and the stage actually moved as well. You'll see it if you track it down and watch it online.
I'll track it down because I love that play.
National Theatre, that's what did him.
The National Theatre, yeah. It was.
I'm sorry for cutting across you, and because one of the things I did this year that unfortunately I never got to really do, and I kept on meaning to do it, but you think you've got plenty of time, and then this happens where you can't leave the house. but they were doing loads of plays, and there was one play, Frankenstein, with like David Cumberbatch and John Lee Miller.
John Lee Miller and Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah, I have. They put that up as well, and they swapped the roles.
Yeah, I did find like I'm actually it's been a while. I can't remember. It's great now because I can't remember who was Frankenstein. So I know it was John Lee Miller that was Frankenstein, and I watched it, and then they showed it again, and I watched it, and because I had seen it first with John Lee Miller as Frankenstein, when it was done with Benedict, I was like, no, I liked it. I'm kind of wondering what would have happened if I would have seen it the other way. Would I have been the same? As like, no, they shouldn't switch. They're better in those roles because it was great. It was great, and the stage play was brilliant, and it was another great thing that they did to keep people at home that couldn't leave the house. And it's probably got people that would never have gone to one, or would have been like myself going, I'll do it this year, want to go to see some more when we can go.
Yeah.
But it just shows that art is as necessary as any other need. Like for the Tories to run a campaign trying to retrain ballerinas as cyber analysts was the most wrong-headed piece of shit. But it was great that they did that misstep so that everybody could just let them know how they felt about that. And let's just raise a glass for musicians this year, because holy fuck. Indeed. There hasn't been money in recorded music in 10, 15, 20 years, and they've had the gig, and they can't. So it's been tough, but we'll be fucking there for you as soon as we're all back. We missed out on Sunstroke and Faith No More and the Jeranis, Jill. The Jeranis.
I know.
Anyway.
What's up, Wayne?
Irene just came in and told me Bill Bailey won Strictly Come Dancing.
Yes!
I don't watch it, but I know Bill Bailey.
Yeah, but he was amazing.
Miracle!
Another skill now.
He's
got a good skill set.
He was toe-to-toe with a 19-year-old and a 21-year-old.
Yeah.
And fuck it, he deserved it. OT's second year in a row. I'm an emotional wreck. I'm not able. I'm open more.
There's more.
You have that wine, Irene. You have that
wine, Irene.
There's another bottle of the Apothic Dark up there. She's Irene is she's very emotional about this. It's
never too late to bust the move.
55. 55. And the other two contestants that were in with a chance to win it were 19,
21, and 30.
Did you hear that?
Wow.
Yeah.
19, 21, and 30. He was a 55-year-old man.
It's not even about him being 55, because that's been ages. He was fucking incredible. So he was about how old he was.
Yeah.
I'm getting back pains thinking about dancing now.
Show the youngsters how to do it. It was
Fair
brilliant.
play.
Was he my first choice? No. Was he my second choice? No. He was like third on the list of 4. But fucking hell, the man was one.
There you go.
One for the nerds.
Big time, because he nerded it up big time, and
he's a twitcher. He's a twitcher. And,
he's unreal.
But he's musical as fuck, so that's gotta help.
So did he pick nerd songs to dance to?
He danced to Metallica.
Oh shit.
I'll have to Strictly. See, I switch off as soon as you say Strictly.
Irene, if you're gonna keep talking, you have to come on camera.
Yeah, they said if you're gonna keep having the chats, you have to jump in on camera.
Yeah.
And hello.
My hair's done, but I'm.
You got your hair done, but you're emotional.
First lady of Pubcast. Get in here.
She can't hear you because I've got my headphones on.
Oh, sorry. Tell her
How do we say hi?
First lady of Pubcast.
Yeah, she said they say hi. She said you're the first lady of Pubcast. You're the first lady of Pubcast.
And don't you ever forget it, lady.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
That's very festive hair.
Yeah.
Get your curly hair back.
Yeah, she only got her hair done today. She went to the.
I like it, but I'm used to her curls.
Yeah, they love your hair, but you're used to your curls.
I'm a total ride. I have the curls. They're here.
Oh, you do. You have them at the back.
Oh,
very nice.
Jill, don't talk to curly-haired girls about their curls. They're very sensitive about them.
She's trying to instill a bit of curl into Amelia's hair because Amelia's got. I think she might have the Talbot hair, but so it's going to be brown and thick but straight.
So it's going to be here.
It's going to be here.
Well,
it's real funny. Go ahead, Jill. What were you saying?
I was just going to say, I know Irene has a natural curl to her hair, but there's a friend of mine who does the curly girl method on Instagram.
Yeah,
Liam's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Dom has like over 100,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah, she's legit an influencer.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Like I can't remember what it was the last time I checked, but she does regular videos and product reviews and all that kind of stuff.
And genuine advice.
And genuine advice, and is super approachable.
You can train your hair back into a curl. A wave is not a fail curl. You can get it back. You just need fuck tons of fucking time and product. Oh my God. You need 45 minutes of diffusing time and an hour to flop your head upside down. So if you got that, sister, let's go. I mean, I can't wait to do it when they've gone to college. It's going to be great.
I never thought we'd get hair tips on Pubcast.
There you go. But Dom has taught
Wayne's still in shock.
Basics still. My hair is curlier since you
I've
told me
noticed
who she was, and I looked her up. So,
So
I haven't got any product or time.
Irene's just discovered something. So Amelia is, we realized early on that Amelia is extremely
First
clever.
baby of podcast.
Yeah, she's extremely clever.
She is.
And over the last while, Amelia's taken to, well, for the last good while. Oh,
She's not clever. She's an evil genius. The little bitch keeps hiding the keys of the doors in the house. So, like, you go to pee and you want 5 minutes privacy because she follows you everywhere, but she hides the fucking key.
Oh,
Like, what
Oh my God.
Kim, what the hell?
I've
No
actually.
one warns you about kids doing this shit. If they had warned you about them doing this shit, I probably wouldn't have had any. Like, what the hell?
she can't hear. Remember, I will say that she cannot hear you because I've got my headphones on.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter. I can still vent.
Okay, you can vent.
She's hiding the fucking keys of all the doors in the house.
Yeah.
Kids are programmed for one thing: survival.
It's a program for one thing: survival.
Yeah,
That's what Kim
and
says.
if survival means I can walk into the toilet with you in it, then they'll do it.
Yeah.
Wayne, I think I have a solution to your problem.
Okay.
Do you remember those little devices that when you whistle, they would make a noise?
Yeah.
Get a couple of them and put them on your keys and they'll never be lost.
Oh,
And you'll
no.
whistle a lot.
You know what she'll do though? She'll disable them. She'll find a way.
You'll take it
Oh,
apart.
that is evil
Yeah,
genius
she'll take
territory,
it
though.
apart. She's
Impressive.
scared.
You'll just hear a very cute phrase. I mean, you know.
Yeah,
when
no,
she's
it's
in
like
it.
to quote Casey Affleck, wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
Smart.
Wicked smart.
But yeah, it's scarily intelligent child. She's like she'll outdo us all.
My kids are fairly book clever, but not creative. So they're not curious. They don't mooch through things. So we are hiding in plain sight with the Red Lads gifts this year. Like they don't go looking. So this is probably my last year of that.
Right.
I'm very lucky because people.
I would always accidentally find my presents. Like I wouldn't be looking for them. I'd be looking for yeah.
Tell us where you'd find them because I'm fascinated by people finding things.
Well, it's funny because for 3 years I was convinced that kids were getting the same presents I was getting, and I wanted to meet these kids that my dad knew, not realizing that they were my presents. I found the only one I can remember is that I found my Castle Grayskull in the wardrobe in my parents' room, but usually they would keep stuff in front of it so you couldn't open it. So, but I don't know what and I know I wasn't looking for presents. I was looking for something else, but I wish.
What the fuck were you looking for in your parents' closet that you found Castle Grayskull?
Exactly. I don't know. I think, but but my dad would say, "Oh, that's for the neighbor's kid," and I would be like, and it wouldn't occur to me to think why the neighbor's kid is getting a Castle Grayskull and not getting it off Santi.
Also, why is the neighbor's kid getting a Castle Grayskull off your dad?
Yeah, it's like, but you know, it's unless they actually work for the neighbor's kids, and I have a brother I don't know about.
Yeah.
But seriously, but yeah, I just had the skill of finding the gifts regardless, and I wasn't looking for them. That's the funny thing. And I think that's why my parents eventually had to tell me, at 21, that Santi wasn't real. You know?
Oh, spoiler! We're gonna have to put a spoiler tag on this.
Oh, sugar, we will.
I never in all my time found my gifts. And in an unrelated or so I thought story, the house I live in now is my great grandfather's house, and it was occupied for most of my life by 2 bachelor uncles, so we would come here not very often because, like, you know, they kept it like 2 owl lads in the country would keep a house. But at Christmas Eve, we used to come over as family, and there was just a giant a fire, and they just have a tree sticking out of it, and they just kick the tree gradually into the fire as it burnt away. It was the fucking coolest thing. And we'd be having
Jesus
7-Up out of
Christmas
shot
gifts on it?
glasses, and I'd eat things that I would never eat, like Christmas cake and shit like that, because I knew they didn't have anything else, you know.
Right.
And you're just like, it was lovely, but it was fucking magical. And then the drive home past everyone's windows and everyone's Christmas trees and everyone was amazing,
Yeah.
beautiful. So this house always reminded me of Christmas. So every Christmas Eve I get totes of mosh in this house about, and I hope that I'm keeping on the legacy, blah blah blah. Do you know why we were over here on Christmas Eve?
Get your Christmas.
Your presents for
So
being.
my
Yeah.
ma could go get them out of Manny
Yeah.
Lynch's shed.
I just have this
We were
image of you trying to
fucking
recreate the
set
tree in a fucking fireplace, and you're just booting a fucking log into your fire. You get the fuck.
Yeah,
Setting the place
know.
alight, like, you know, who the fuck does that?
Yeah.
Like when you say they had a tree sticking out of a
They
fire.
had an open hearth, big open fire, and it was big, like it was wide, and it came out, and it was a log this size, and they were just like, it was lying out perpendicular to the fire on the floor, and as time went on, they just
And was it like a slate floor or just a concrete floor? And they were able to
just a floor,
like a country
that would
house,
be-
a country house floor.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then there could be
Farmhouse
probably a big
floor.
fire. I was
Yeah.
thinking it was a Christmas tree with Christmas decorations on it. I was like, why would you? I know you need heat, but why would you
Jesus.
do that? That's going to terrify a little kid. But
It
now
would.
it makes more sense.
It does make more sense. Whatever.
It is the
whatever
season,
food-
but
I don't want to flex about how country I am, but there was kids in my class at school that had dirt floors in their houses. And the funny thing is, we may go back to that because dirt floors are clean as fuck and they're warm as fuck. And I guarantee you hipsters are going to discover dirt floors in the next 25 years. Because they have, like, soil has microbes, and obviously it's compacted, so it's like it's fucking set, like it's not just muck, you know, it's a systematically made dirt floor. But they had lambs in the kitchen, which
Yeah.
is, you know,
They may have
not
gotten
really-
sick from other things.
Yeah,
Like,
but
why
they were
does
never sick.
Mossy have a tapeworm? I don't know.
Yeah. But they were just like legit. It was a family of fucking 13 that had a dirt floor in their kitchen, and the parents
That sounds like a
no
bad family.
teeth between them. Sounds like who?
Well, my dad has 12 siblings and grew up in County Cavan.
Oh, there you go. That's he knows all about. He probably knows.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a generational thing for our parents or whatever, because my dad had like 16 brothers and sisters.
Holy shit!
But that was-
But that was
My
a
dad had
Dublin
14.
family. That was a Dublin family living in a 2-bedroom house.
Jesus. Well, my mom's dad, so his mother had 10 kids
Yeah.
and lived in a 2-bedroom cottage in Terranure.
Yeah. See, you know what that is testament to me? To me, that's what the testament is that even though people had TVs in their houses in the 50s, there was fuck all on RTE1 and 2. Nothing. Nothing on the telly.
they're invested in TV shows.
Yeah.
People didn't buy TVs back then; they hired them as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, they rented them.
Not a lot of people had the money for that as well. Like back in the 50s.
Isn't it class,
Yeah.
lads? We consider ourselves. Oh, well, I consider myself to be like quite young. But yeah, this shit was happening. Like,
Well, look,
just
take it back.
our
The guy in
time.
KFC probably thought you were mad young. You know?
Yeah, that's why he thought I was going to be the next Bebo Stunner.
He was doing a TikTok video of you, and then he was going to go over and ask you out, but you left. That's what it was.
Yeah, he was.
Look
Yeah,
what I did.
This
Oh,
one's a
you're gone.
MILF and this one's not. Anyway, yeah. I'll be doing TikTok dances in 10 minutes, so we'll get to that.
I'm worried later on I'm going to be very drunk, and my dad's going to come down and see me throwing soil on the ground, and I'm going to be like, "No, keep us all warm."
Microbes, we'll all be safe.
Very good.
Microbes are fine.
The microbes. I tell you, if we all had dirt floors now, COVID wouldn't be a problem.
There you go. There you go.
But what was I going to say? Tenant, yeah. So,
Tenant. You're right. Like, at the risk. Wayne, so that we have to continue the persecution. Poor Darren cannot get away with the way he says Dalek. He can't. So I can't let you say tenant again.
what did I say?
You keep saying
Tenant.
tenant, it's tenant.
He
Tenant.
keeps on-
It's because you're thinking about my gynecologist. I know.
Exactly. See, that's what we start.
that's it.
Tenet is the film, but when we started talking about David Tennant, it
Yeah.
happens. And also, I've had the best parts of a
Dalek,
bottle of
darling,
half of
tomato,
wine.
Do
and
it. So tell us,
so,
Wayne.
like I'm
Is it a
double
series
drinking
of-
on this session, like, you know.
Okay,
Are you
can I
drinking
make a
Grain in the
prediction?
Grape?
Can I make a
Yeah, I'm
prediction?
Grain in the
Even though
Grape.
you've tried to tell us this like 14
Sorry,
times,
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
still going to make a prediction. Is it a series of bins being banged together and then people saying things that aren't real things that people would say?
Yes. Pretty much. So
Nailed it.
yeah. So as much as I do like Christopher Nolan's films. I get them. See, the problem is I think Christopher Nolan has very much become a victim of believing his own press.
Victim of his own success.
Yeah,
Yes.
and he
tried too hard to be intellectual.
I think he's just he really is trying to be he tries to be overly impressive and smart, wicked smart with his movies, right? So Tenet is a good film. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's a good film. And again, Robert Pattinson proves that he is a good fucking actor and he deserves more credit for his craft because he's in some cracking movies that people just haven't fucking watched. And I mean, if the numbers to be believed, Tenet is another one of these films that people haven't watched yet because everything that's going on. But the problem with it is that it starts off and it's really weird. Maybe it's the sound mix on the Blu-ray or something. I don't know.
No, it's the sound mix in the film.
Yeah, and I can't remember if I've read reviews where they said this, but the dialogue at the start of the movie is like, it's like fucking mumble rap. It's like really like the main characters in like the people that are interacting in the start of the movie are like,
Oh, they're on SoundCloud.
It's full on like somebody's turned the bass up and the treble is down. Like it's really weird. And I was thinking, hang on, I thought, hang on, is there something wrong with the sound of my fucking TV? What the fuck is going on here?
I just bought this thing.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm not returning this fucking thing just yet. You know, my PlayStation was great on it. Like, come on. So I was playing with the fucking audio things. I was like trying to get the audio up. And thankfully I was in the house by myself. So I turned the audio all the way up. But it was like the usual Nolan soundtrack. It was like, and then dialogue. It starts off with, you know, it hits the ground running. It really does. It's a nice, brisk opening. But for me, and I'm not trying to sound smart or anything here when I say this, but I saw where it was going a mile off.
Oh, and it's supposed to be a twist?
I don't know if it's meant to be a twist or not. I don't know if it's meant to be twisty. I don't know if you're meant to get it early on, but maybe I've just seen too many time travel films, or I know too many tropes. Maybe Doctor Who has ruined me coming back to the Tenet part.
Yeah, you are.
We've got time travel in it. We tend to figure them out pretty quickly.
But like, I can't be alone in this. I can't be the only, you know, I can't, like, there's bound to be a fucking trillion people out there go, right, yeah. Like and I found it quite obvious early on what the crack was.
And does it hurt it that you see where it's going?
Yeah, big time. Big time. It's meant to be, it seems like it's meant to be a mystery. It seems like it's meant to be a nut to crack. Like a lot of, like, I still think to this day, I hands down believe that The Prestige is Nolan's best movie. I think it plays to its strengths because of the cast that's involved in it.
Yeah.
And it was very well cast.
Yeah.
I think part of the problem with Tenet is that the cast, when they're good, they're fantastic, but when they're bad, they're fucking pantomime. There's moments in it where Kenneth Branagh is really fucking good. And there's moments as well we expect you hear the audience go, oh, look out, he's behind you. That type of a situation, right?
Oh, you gotta rein that shit in.
Yeah, and again, Nolan falls over with his female characters as well. Even though the actress, whose name escapes me, my semi-drunken...
The one woman that's in it.
The one woman that's in the film.
There's always one woman in it.
But she's like a statuesque Amazonian creature who fights her way back to independence because she's under the thumb of a tyrant type of situation. Right. But it's very one note to a degree. The protagonist, and that is his fucking name in the film, the protagonist is very cut and dry, and the actor doesn't get much to stretch in. I don't want to get his name wrong, so I'm going to Google it. I do know it, but I don't want to fuck it up.
Is it Chiwetel Ejiofor?
No, it isn't. You think it would be, but no. It is John David Washington.
Oh, it's Denzel Bell's boy. Jesus.
Yeah, and he's good. Like John David Washington is good in what he's given to play with, but I feel that because he's not even given a proper name, I think he's just there as a MacGuffin. He is actually the MacGuffin in the film. It's not about anything else that's happening. They have these devices that are meant to create time travel and allow individuals to kind of play things. There's some smart moments in it, how they handle time travel, how somebody who's displaced into a time that they're not meant to be in can't breathe air properly because they're out of time, out of sync with time.
Oh, cool.
So they have to wear oxygen masks. There's some interesting ideas in the film. There really, really is. But I think the overall execution, the overall story is so predictable, and you can spot the twist a mile off.
I don't feel he ties things together well at all. And I remember there's a movie group that I'm in, and I felt kind of safe to post this. I'm like, what is, like, I said, I have a Christopher Nolan section in my DVD collection. Of course I do. What is his thing? Because his film purism, his cinema purism is one thing. The fact that he writes them and directs them is another thing, the auteur kind of thing. And then the twisty-turny nature of his screenplays. I feel like his screenplays are 80% done, like, all the time. And then his directing is great until the moments you see cracks in it, but, you know, that's fine. And obviously his ability to pick cinematographers is top-notch. But he's so, like, what's the difference between having a style and continuing to do the same shit over and over again? Why is Christopher Nolan lauded so much? Because it's not, is it because he does it all? Because it's not just purely as a director, and it can't be as a scriptwriter. I
think personally, this is my own opinion on it, and maybe I'm open to correction totally, but I think it's the expectations behind what he does is because of what he's achieved previously.
Yeah.
So like I said, The Prestige for me is his best movie. But in my mind also, Nolan takes, like Tarantino does, takes from other creators.
Yeah.
And creators that aren't well known, and puts these ideas into his movies that people think are groundbreaking, but they've been done elsewhere. If you're a cinephile, if you know your movies, if you know, and I'm not talking about live action, I'm talking about Nolan has a severe case of taking from anime. There's an anime director called Satoshi Kon, who's one of the best all-time filmmakers, never mind anime, filmmakers, who made a countless amount. Now, he's passed away. He died a couple of years ago. But the films he made heavily influenced Inception. Outside of the Nolanverse, heavily influenced Black Swan. If you've seen either Paprika or Perfect Blue, those two movies are pretty much Inception and Black Swan.
Oh, right, because Inception is my favorite of.
There are full sections in Inception that are taken directly out of Paprika and just put into live action. That sequence where Joseph Gordon-Levitt walks around the walls of a hotel, that was done in Paprika.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That bit was taken straight out of Paprika, where there's a police detective running at a suspect, and it's all about dreams, and the whole world just twists and flips on its head as he's running towards him in a corridor of a hotel. There's entire plot points taken out of that. But I personally, even though Nolan has some fantastic movies, Memento is brilliant. Memento is great. Prestige is his best film, but what he did with Batman.
Oh, well, I love Batman Begins.
Batman Begins is the best Batman film in my eyes. I've said this. People that know me know that I've said this. Batman Begins is the best all-time Batman film, hands down.
I
rewatched it, and I like it more than. Oh, sorry. I didn't actually. I was going to say I don't think it's the best. I still love Michael Keaton and Batman Returns for lots of reasons. Both what was happening at the time and the movie, I'll always think is my favorite. But on you saying it was the
it's not any good. Like
it's a Christmas movie, so I'll be watching it soon. But no, the fact that we did have this conversation before, and I was very surprised that you said it's the best one. And I was like, but what about the one with the Joker in it? I went back and I rewatched it. and it went up a notch, and I'll actually watch it more. Whereas if we wouldn't have had that conversation, I probably never would have watched.
Which is Batman Begins.
Batman Begins, yeah.
Yeah, Batman Begins. It's my own personal opinion. Batman Begins gets better with every watch.
Yeah.
The more you watch that film, the better it gets.
I don't know how you feel about the Batmans, and I want to hear it, and I want to hear it right now.
I think because they're more comic booky and they're the first ones I saw, I always have a big attachment to the Tim Burton Batmans.
Sorry, the person with the black Santa hat likes Tim Burton.
Not black.
Really? I'm shocked about this film. Really? It's blue.
It's green and blue.
Sorry, I take that back.
Very cool.
But yes, you are a super goth, but as Batman movies.
As Batman movies go, I really enjoyed the Christopher Nolan ones. I thought they were dark and eerie and they were so completely different from the Tim Burton ones, and they're more like the comic books that I read as an adult. They're for a more mature audience, and there's something very atmospheric about them, and I thought they were cast very well. I really liked Christian Bale as Batman, in particular in the first one. The other two,
agree.
Hard agree. But Batman Begins, I'm going to watch it over Christmas again because it's been a while since I saw it. And
sorry.
Wait for it.
And I'm looking for seeing the new one with Robert Pattinson. I think
that's
going to be interesting.
I am really looking forward to that.
And if we get our Batman Beyond, we've been hinting at with.
I fucking love that cartoon.
Cracking
awesome.
cartoon.
Especially when his heart attack scene and that, like, I was like, it wasn't until later on when he has the gun in his hand, and it's the first time in the cartoon. No, it wouldn't have been the first time in the cartoon I'd seen a gun. It was the first time I ever thought Batman would pick up a gun, and I was like, wow. And then I got this idea in my head. It's like, well, he had no other choice, and then
didn't
put
Michael
that in
Keaton
that.
Just flat out shoot people.
He was. There was talk.
That's the
I read
thing,
an article
like,
saying. Sorry, Wayne. In the Arrowverse, if you haven't watched the Arrowverse, they have a dark Batman in that, but there was talk that Michael Keaton was going to come back and be him because he did right out shoot everybody. Well, not shoot, but kill all his enemies. So he would turn more darker. But
it's crazy because like everyone always like when people get up on their high horse about the Affleck Batman killing people. The Michael Keaton Batman killed people as well in Batman Returns. He straps a bomb to a guy's crotch and throws him into a sewer.
He does.
Like,
doesn't he fuck the lads off the roof like immediately at the beginning?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't fuck him off the roof. He knocks the guy out and then hoists the guy up, and he was like, "What are you? A Batman?" It's an iconic. Michael Keaton's Batman is iconic because it showed modern cinema could do a Batman film.
Yes.
That is it's a hugely high. I think it's one of the highest grossing films of a superhero movie. Now I don't know what
Batman Begins could run.
Yeah, but here's the thing about it is, it's funny enough, and it's not much a segue. It's still Batman related, but there's a
Batman on a segue.
Yeah. There's a 2-episode series on Netflix at the moment called The Christmas Movies That Made Us. You know the way they did the toys that made us? So they did the Christmas. Yeah, they did. It's 2 fucking films that they did. There's a plethora of movies they could pick, and I'll tell you why every single episode should be the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. But the 2 films that they pick is Elf and A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Well, that's too recent to make any.
Exactly.
What about Home Alone?
Exactly. There's so many they could do, but they're the ones they pick. But in the Nightmare Before Christmas one, they go into the fact that, the whole thing about this isn't Nightmare Before Christmas is not Tim Burton's movie. It's Henry Selick's film.
It's Henry Selick's
film. But the problem is that Batman happened when Tim Burton was trying to. What happened was Disney when Tim Burton worked for Disney, he was designing all these characters because that's what he did. He designed these characters. He had sketchbooks filled with these wacky designs. His gothic fantasies, and he was the loner. He was the weird guy. The usual thing.
Yeah.
And he then left Disney after his contract expired of 2 years or something, and went elsewhere. And then started to make films. Made Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and that did really well.
That's a banger.
Right? Worked with your man from Oingo Bongo, Danny Elfman, and they did the music, the film, the whole thing. And that's who Paul Rubens wanted. He wanted Tim Burton. Then the Batman thing came around, and Batman did fucking gangbusters.
Gangbusters. Haven't seen that
Garden
either.
it all.
Right?
Sorry.
Fucking cracking film, the old bouncing bomb. Can't beat it.
Oh yeah.
It's Dam Busters is what you're talking about, not Gangbusters.
Oh
but,
yes.
There you go. But I knew what you meant. But yes, so Batman happened, and it made fucking gazillions of money. Right, went through the roof. Tim Burton was an overnight success, and they gave him a blank check for Batman Returns and said, "Do what the fuck you want." And then we got the gothic ejaculation that was Batman Returns.
It really was.
Right? Spirals up the wazoo. Christopher Walken, like, wow, in this crazy wig. It's like, wow. And like we got that, and we got Michelle Pfeiffer as arguably like the second greatest Catwoman next to Eartha Kitt. Like,
well, I mean, it wasn't really
Penguin.
Catwoman, but
it wasn't
God.
though. It wasn't like
It
the whole.
wasn't. It was
In my
fantastic.
bunk is where
Yeah.
it was.
I still, when I come home, open the front door and go, "Hey, honey, I'm home." I forgot I'm not married.
I have been known to say that quote as well when I come in.
Yeah.
Or with the
But hey, D-Man, that could be
seriously, I do. Like,
D-Man, that could be Lisa Marie's next picture is you in that outfit.
There you go.
Well, I want the two of you. I want the two of you to do it on camera, and then I want it put together in a supercut. So thank you.
But yeah, so Tim Burton got the carte blanche for Batman Returns to do what he wanted. So that's why we got Batman Returns, and why it's a bit more over the top compared to the first one, and why he didn't, like, I think he declined the third one because he was off doing his own thing at that point, because he had become a big director and was off making other films that he had more interest in than making just Batman films. And I still, to this day, I will stand by Batman Forever, because I rewatched that film recently, and I think it's on par with
Batman
Batman.
Forever.
Grinning Batman?
The cinematography in Batman Forever is fucking gorgeous. It is a beautiful looking film. There's shots in that movie that are just perfect. The shot of the Graysons as they when the Graysons land, and it's just the red and blue, and it's the dead bodies. The actual framing of that shot. There's some beautiful shots in that film. Really, really good shots in that film.
Stephen Mooney is shouting so hard at the screen right now. I just send us footage of that too, please, Stephen. Our hot takes on Batman Returns drive him through the roof. Oh my god.
Yeah. Like it's. But with that being said, like from that, Burton's Batman is a different beast to Nolan's Batman. And I think Nolan's applause for Nolan and his like the throne that he was put upon was the fact that he took a character that previously had been driven into the ground by a lot of directors, by Joe Schumacher mainly, obviously, had eventually just driven it into the ground with Batman and Robin, and it killed the franchise. For Nolan to resurrect that franchise and give us Batman Begins, and then to give us The Dark Knight, because Ledger carried that movie.
The Dark Knight did the same thing that The Dark Knight did the same thing for Christopher Nolan as Batman Returns did for. Oh my God! Are you going to forget Tim Burton's name in front of Jill? Jesus Christ! So he made it. The Dark Knight it's 50% Batman. I mean, in Batman Begins, in my opinion, it's 70% Batman, 30% Nolan. The Dark Knight is 55-45. And then The Dark Knight Rises is...
The Dark Knight Rises is all Nolan. It's Nolan believing... Again, that's the part where Nolan, his press is starting to overtake what he does. I think it's more of a film... Yeah. It's the kind of the film... He wanted to make a different movie than a Batman film, and it just didn't... It ended up being something else. And he took the Nolan formula and injected it into it.
Don't believe your hype.
Don't believe your hype.
And there's probably a lot of people... Yeah, there's a lot of people out there who... People out there that love Nolan there are a lot of people out there who love Nolan, think that everything he does is gold, and that's fine. There's people out there that believe that, and a lot of film directors.
Oh yeah,
But
there's Tarantino heads that have been.
oh, don't get me started on that.
Peter Bogdanovich and people like that really kind of elevated things. They took the things they wanted from people like Orson Welles and they looked at their successes and ignored their Bird's Eye commercials and said, why don't we just do that again, but more smelling our own farts?
Yeah.
And because of the auteur principle, in my opinion, and how many people were shut out of the industry by mediocre white men. Sorry. We had some very exciting stuff in the 70s, and also a lot of people that couldn't be told anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of tricky. And I'd say, yeah, as you say, hubris, Jesus Christ, lads, hubris is a killer for any artist.
Yeah, so Tenet is grand and all. It's nothing. It's not going to save the world. It's nothing to write majorly home about. You'll enjoy it as a.
What do you think about Nolan giving out about what's going to happen with Warner Bros?
I think a lot of people are giving out about that because they were blindsided. It's less about like the actual fact that they're going to release it on streaming services that you can only get in America.
Oh right.
Okay. I mean, I looked up the numbers as well. By the way, Tenet did actually make back a fair bit of cash. It made back over its budget by nearly 200 million. But it did well. Like the budget was like 250, and it made back near 400 million. But I think Nolan wasn't alone in this as well. Though. It was Denis Villeneuve is part of it. And he is now, for me, that's the golden boy for a lot of franchises in studios in the States, or big franchises in general. So he is responsible for bringing back Blade Runner and bringing it back with a bang, because Blade Runner 2049 was fucking unreal. And he's now tackling Dune. And I've recently, thanks to Doc being a fucking badass, he dropped over my standing order and a few Christmas presents that Aaron had bought for me, because the post wouldn't get them here in time. So I picked up. This was in my pull list.
Oh, look
so
at that.
It's the graphic novel adaptation of Dune. It's book one. So the creative team on this. It's adapted by Brian Herbert, so Frank's son, and Kevin J. Anderson. Illustrated by Raoul Allen and Patricia Martin. And it's a gorgeous book. I've skimmed through it. I haven't read it yet, but it's very well put together. It looks lovely. It's very well colored. It's very well drawn.
Goes to your
Nice.
Sweet.
It's nice. It's got some nice lines in it. Like, it's nice. It's not overly imposing, and it captures the idea of Dune. It really, really does. And it's really funny because it's everything on Arrakis. Anything that happens on Dune that is kind of linked with outdoors. It's kind of got this orange hue over the pages, which is nice.
Nice.
But it's a graphic novel of book one of Dune, so it's up until the point where, and I could say spoilers, but Dune has been around for fucking donkeys.
It has.
So it's up until the point where the Harkonnens retake Arrakis. That's so at the end. So it's the end of book one of the novel. So this is book one.
How many
of the
books is there? I'm used to the movie. I never got around to reading the books, but now that they're in graphic novel form,
there's a lot of Dune books. For me, I haven't read all of them. I gave up after a while because you have the whole Children of Dune series as well. And Dune has been
Muppet Babies.
Yeah. Hey, there's nothing wrong with the Muppet Babies.
No, there's nothing at all wrong with the Muppet Babies. I didn't say anything about the Muppet Babies.
What was that?
What about the hardcore novels then? The main books. How many
Darren. The hardcore novels. So I've read. I think I've definitely only recently in the last 5 years, I've reread the first two books. So Dune, the first Dune book is like, and then the sequel by Frank Herbert is La. So like the first book is quite chunky and there's a lot in it, and then the sequel is quite small. So they're both great books in their own right. They've the whole story of Muad'Dib of Paul Atreides. It's really, really good. then like it's not so much, and I don't mean to put it in the same pigeonhole it in the same kind of frame as this, but like the Wheel of Time series, there's a lot of extra stuff in there.
Yeah, for the fans that want it. Yeah, I get you.
So there's a lot there. Kevin J. Anderson took up the mantle afterwards. Brian Herbert took up the mantle afterwards as well. So they're the ones that adapted it for the comic book, and it's a cracking adaptation. Kevin J. Anderson and Brian Herbert are responsible for a lot of the continuation following Frank Herbert's death. So yes, it is a sprawling sci-fi story. It is iconic. Dune is iconic. As much as like the David Lynch film is hated and lauded at the same time. Some people love that movie. I saw it at an early age, and I'll be honest, that film was my first introduction to Dune, and I have some fond memories of that movie. And it's not the worst adaptation of the book. There's a lot of stuff missing from it. Some casting choices are a bit strange, but it's still, again, nostalgia is attached to it for me. I still watch that movie and go, I enjoyed it. I get it. I get a lot out of it. It's got Patrick Stewart looking like Patrick Stewart, even back when that film was made. You know,
personal shields were deadly, and drills that drilled through the shields. I'll never forget that, watching that for the first time. Seeing the shields and then seeing the guy, the gun, and it's like, that's going to bounce up. Oh, shit.
There was a Dune companion movie book in the library of my national school. Why? And I wasn't old enough to read the words in it, so I would just get it and look at the pictures. Never seen the film, but I used to just go to a certain picture of Kyle MacLachlan and Sting, and I just look at it.
Was it the one of Sting after coming out of the cleanser, just standing like this, with his nipples out?
Maybe. I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but I think I need to look at this more.
Do you ever notice that Kim's internet connection gets really good when she gets thirsty?
Is that what's happening?
That's actually happening. Yeah, your video gets really good when you get thirsty. It's like when you're like, oh, David Tennant is my gynecologist, Sting is my childhood library crush. No, it's the reason why I had a library card with Sting's chest and Kyle MacLachlan.
Thankfully, Sting's personality has, dried me right up, so it's fine. It's fine.
He has some moves for that.
His personality is worse than the fucking deserts.
It's worse than his collaboration with Shaggy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, no.
Kim, we'd forgotten about that. We had forgotten. We had
forgotten into my life.
Yeah, we had forgotten about that. 2020 just keeps on giving, really, isn't it?
Speaking of sci-fi that has maintained us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, mine is fucking amazing and terrible. And I'm sorry about anybody watching this if they...
I noticed it straight away, but I didn't want to freak out. Well, sorry, I mean, when we started recording, I was about to go, oh my God!
Kim, have you...
I don't want to flex, but my kids call it the child and not Baby Yoda, so...
His name's Grogu, anyway.
Yeah, his name is Grogu.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not there yet.
And here's the thing, Kim, and if we are going to talk about The Mandalorian, because we may have to.
Yeah.
I
think you have to.
It is the way.
By all accounts, that finale was noteworthy. So I think what I might do... I
want to get a beer. Just give me 1 sec. If we're going to talk about it.
Because I am going to watch it over Christmas, but I cancel my Disney Plus to reconnect at Christmas.
Okay.
Because I'm a broke-ass hobo. I will take these out.
Yeah.
And then you give me a wave when it's time to come back. But you need to talk about it. People are really, really talking about it.
Yeah. No, big time.
All right.
No, defo. If you're all right for us to talk about the Mando, we will talk about the Mando for sure.
You Mando it up. Look, it wouldn't be a Pubcast if I wasn't walking away to be in a different part of the pub for a few minutes.
It also wouldn't be a Pubcast Christmas special over the last couple of years without talking about Star Wars either.
Yes, it would not. Oh,
but the thing about it is, though, Kim, is like we didn't technically have a Christmas special last year. It was the three of us sitting in a pub after watching the fucking Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
That was our Christmas special last year. And
my
it was like,
Christmas special to myself was walking out of the cinema in Navan at 3 a.m. so angry that I left my handbag behind me and had to come back the next day to get it. And I was like, I could not tell the person working there why I left it. It was like, I can't believe I booked tickets 2 months in advance to watch a Vine compilation. It was like, I mean, I always watch Vine compilations, but like, I just, no. Okay, right. I am going to dodge out of this. I'm going
You broke Wayne.
I broke
That
Wayne.
is probably the
Hooray!
most perfect sentence that sums up the rise of Skywalker I have
It was
ever
a
fucking
Vine
heard.
compilation.
A Vine
It's great,
compilation.
but you can't do that for more than 15 minutes. You need to get some hearty.
But not even like the only Vine compilations I watch are people that are just pretending to be D&D characters. They're the only Vine compilations I
Oh
watch.
shit, we're
That's
watching
it.
different Vine compilations. God damn algorithms. God damn it.
Oh,
Guys,
man.
just to talk about the Last Jedi, or I think it's the second movie,
If-
but you know the
Darren,
bit where
talking about
well,
The Last Jedi, just walk away.
no, it's
Sorry,
an
that's
idea I
Kate's
had
line.
about earlier on, but like, you know the bit where Yoda appears to Luke when he's old and starts chatting to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if it wasn't Yoda, but it was Grogu trolling Luke, and it's like I look like him, so if I just put a bit of like grey on me,
Darren,
I'll just go out and
these are the
annoy him.
headcanons we've spoken about previously. We haven't had to talk
No,
about
no, I
headcanons,
just
D-Man
giggled at it
headcanons for a
earlier
long,
on.
long time.
We
I
haven't.
think it would be funny. Yeah, just like no, he's going on about Yoda all the time, and I look like him, so I'll just go and pretend for a bit. I'll tell him. Don't worry, I'll tell him it's
Like it's this Grogu's like, just paint the blue outline on me, and people think I'll be a
Yeah,
ghost.
it'd be funny. Like they've got that glow spray, the muff
Yeah.
yeah, just shh.
Jill,
Well, here we go.
That
And he
thing's
just didn't
making
have
me
the heart
feel
to tell
maternal.
Luke. Luke was so happy. He just said, "Why didn't you tell him?" No, he's better off, man. Like it's the first time he smiled in ages.
Yeah.
All
You're right
my
though.
lovelies,
The
I'm gonna
child,
take these out.
Grogu and the child have made people feel quite maternal apparently, and paternal.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. But yeah, so we're going to talk about the Mandalorian season finale. Kim has not seen it, so Kim is going to step out for a second and you know, freshen up or whatever women do. I take it the three of us have seen the Mandalorian finale.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay.
It is the way.
So, ladies first, Jill, I'm going to ask you your reaction to the actual episode. Or the season as a whole, even.
The season as a whole, I thought was really fucking good. I was glued every week. I was like, it's my little piece of heaven. Every Friday I would treat myself to the new, in the last couple of months, the new episode of Star Trek Discovery and Mandalorian. And it was really lovely seeing some characters from the animated series pop up. The obvious ones being Ahsoka Tano, Bo-Katan, and I just thought the finale was done really. I think, what's his? Oh my God, I can't remember the actor's name who plays the bad guy, Moff.
Moff
Gideon.
Gideon. It's what's his name?
Gideon.
Carlos Esposito.
Carlos Esposito, known to other people from Better Call Saul. He's a
He was also in Once Upon a Time at the Mirror. He was also, as far as I remember, he was in Once Upon a Time at the Mirror. I could be getting that wrong, but I think that was him.
I think there was an Onion article during the year when he turned up at the end of the Mandalorian, and then when the second season started, there was an Onion article or something saying main characters realize they're fucked because Carlos Esposito's been cast as the bad guy.
He's obviously such a different character compared to his one in Better Call Saul, but he plays the sinister bad guy so well. I thought he was excellent. I loved all the casting. Even Bill Burr's reappearance in the last how many episodes ago was that?
Yeah, he was
2 episodes. It was the second to last episode was Bill Burr.
Yes, yeah.
Or was it? No. Second to last.
It was the second to last one. And his little sort of redemption arc.
Yeah, that was nice.
But I thoroughly enjoyed the season. I did have a moment watching the last episode only this morning going, oh no, that's it, that's the end. I'm going to have to rewatch it over Christmas. I love the bond that was created between himself and the Mandalorian, because the Mandalorian was a reluctant hero at the start, tasked with this quest of returning the child to people who could look after him, and actually growing quite attached to him, and I've loved that. I think Pedro Pascal's ability to emote from behind a helmet is a testament to his acting abilities. And I love seeing photographs of him on the internet where he's like doing scenes and he's holding a pillow as if he's. But I have to say, since I bought this, like I will sit there watching the episodes like this.
Really?
Aww.
There seems to be a lot of people have really attached themselves to that to the
big time
thing.
Shout out to Bella Agogo, who has an Instagram page
For hers, yeah.
For her Baby Yoda Adventures Ireland. And there's something about his face.
It's his big eyes.
The big
They're doll's eyes. All
got-
over black.
he's got a couple
No,
of-
but it's weird because usually with demons have those type of eyes, so you think it would.
Fucking sharks have those type of eyes.
Yeah, but it's not. It's like cute and everything.
friends, not fiends.
See, and this is the gas thing about the character as well. Like the character's about 50 or 60 years old, so he's older than everyone else that is transporting him around.
But we all know that like Yoda was fucking 900 years old minimum. So like 50 obviously is a child for this.
Yeah.
Is it 51 that he'll start talking? Is it? That's what I'm kind of curious to know when.
All he does is go. Eh.
Yeah.
But then I can talk to him. So did the Jedi know that when he's going to start talking?
It communicates through his mind, I guess. That's what
Yeah,
it is, you know.
he
So
communicate to them kind of
Because
telepathically.
it's weird. Sorry to like. I only copped on that. Like I was watching Spider-Man the cartoon and Groot was in it, and it didn't occur. I always thought that he had just said I am Groot, but they were saying as though you can't understand what he's saying. The only thing you can understand and make sense of it is that when he does talk, all you're hearing is I am Groot, whereas in fact he's saying other things. So I'm kind of wondering, is it if you were a Jedi, would you have a full-blown conversation with him? Whereas because you're not a Jedi, you just think he's a baby, whereas in fact he could be as intelligent as Einstein or something. I
mean, Ahsoka Tano manages not to jump ahead, but Ahsoka Tano does have a full-blown conversation with him when she turns up, and he manages to communicate through the Force with her. But
that was some amazing casting. Like I
Yeah.
I am a huge fan of Rosario Dawson. I have been since Josie and the Pussycats. I love her. Sorry, I'm just going to turn off my TV. I did have my my nice fireplace, the fake fire that you can put up on Netflix. For atmosphere. But I thought she for a minute or two when that episode played, I kind of forgot it was her. Like I obviously knew when they announced when she had cast, and I was like, oh my god, Rosario Dawson's going to be amazing.
I don't think they officially announced it. That's the thing. I think it was a case of there was fan rumor, because what happened was
that's what it was. It was like, oh, wouldn't it be brilliant?
And then
Rosario?
Boss Logic did a Photoshop mock-up of Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano.
That makes much more sense.
And then Rosario, when she said, well, he posted it and he said this would be great casting, and she retweeted it. And she's like, yes,
Not saying that she was,
yes, it
but
fucking would be. And then apparently from that, she got the role. So I mean, Boss Logic has been responsible for stuff like that happening. He has been, because he got work from Marvel and from Disney Studios with the Avengers posters because of stuff he was creating, and people were cast through his kind of manipulations of photographs. But anyway,
cool. I was a big fan of Snips from the Clone Wars cartoon. Like I think like a lot of people, she was quite irritating at the start, but everybody grew to love her because the Clone Wars, that cartoon, it's about her journey really at the end of the yes, it's about Obi-Wan and it's about Anakin, but it's more about Ahsoka and her becoming a Jedi and her training and all that kind of stuff, and even her appearance in Rebels as well. So like I heard she was gonna appear in Mando, I was like, oh!
But the thing about Rebels as well, when she appeared in Rebels, that iconic moment in the Sith Temple when she faces off against Vader. That in Rebels doesn't get enough credit for what it is.
I love Rebels.
Yeah.
I know Ahsoka more from Rebels than from the Clone Wars, because I watched it for a bit, but I got distracted. And then when Rebels came out, I was like, you know what? I'll probably like this more because it's happening now. And by the end of it, when I seen Ahsoka when she appeared, I'm like, I didn't know what had happened to her, but I was like, okay, she's alive. And then when she finally fights off with Vader, I had this wow moment of, hang on, no, that's her. Like that's her, like her master. Like, oh, it just got even more real. And I got more giddy when she got announced for Mando because of Rebels, as opposed to if I'd never seen Rebels and Clone Wars, I would have been like, oh, cool, that should be interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely cool casting.
I think, like, following on from, like, I think that's, and this is the testament to Filoni being involved, and it shows that, like, there was a famous interview on, well, famous enough for me being a nut of Star Wars, but Freddie Prinze Jr. did a radio interview following Rebels.
Yeah.
Freddie Prinze Jr., the voice of what's his face?
Oh my God, how did I forget the character?
Kanan Jarrus.
Kanan Jarrus, yes. I knew it was Kanan Jarrus, right?
Got lipstick on his head.
And he portrayed that character in Rebels.
Yeah.
And he did this great radio interview where we talked about, this is before Rise of Skywalker was released, and he did this brilliant, very passion-filled and F-bomb-filled talk about Star Wars.
Right.
And about how Filoni was given the playbook by Lucas.
Right.
So Filoni was the one person that was said, Lucas was like, here, this is how you fucking do it. This is how it's done. It's light and dark. It's balanced. It's all about balance and blah, 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 blah. It's a fantastic little soundbite from Freddie Prinze Jr. You can look it up online. It's brilliant. And you can see the passion he has for Star Wars and the passion he has for his characters, the character he played in the show. And he talks about that. Filoni knows Star Wars inside and out. And I think, if anything, Mandalorian has shown, and I don't mean to be petty when I say this, but maybe a bit petty, but Filoni should have been the one who was given the reins of a sequel trilogy, because Filoni knows the universe. Filoni had built up the Clone Wars, had built up Rebels, and is continuing that legacy with Mandalorian. And will continue it with Mandalorian now into, I don't know how involved Filoni is with the now countless other shows that have been released, announced. But there's a fucking plethora of shows that are coming out.
I'm hoping they're done well. My worry is that we've been bombarded and eventually we'll be sick of them.
Yeah.
To go from hardly any. Like, I will admit it, I wasn't much of a Star Wars fan, but I was more of a Trekkie, but I'm loving all the new stuff, and so because it's been so good, the TV shows now, and the announcements of what they're going to bring in, and the cartoons were brilliant. So, but my worry is that we'll get oversaturated, and they'll eventually will start getting more worse than bad stuff than good. But I have hope, and that's the main thing.
Well, that's the thing, and they're telegraphing. I think they're going to slowly bring these shows out. They're not all going to land at once.
No, I don't.
And they're all going to be intermingled. I think there's got to be a lot of crossbreeding with these shows.
Am I right?
Some of them are animated, some of them are live action. So what?
They're bringing out droids again, because I still remember.
There's going to be there's one called A Droid Story. We don't know who it's about yet.
Because that's what I love about Star Wars, the droids. Like, my favorite character in Mando was IG-11. Like, when I seen him at the beginning, and then when he came back, it's just
voiced by Richard Ayoade.
Yeah, well, he probably made it, but I love the idea of like, I still remember that one episode. I think it was in Droids, where they find this droid, and it's actually not a droid; it's a guy, pretending to be a droid so he can get work. Like, he's skinny and all that, but like it's vivid. But I love the idea of
the life story of Anthony Daniels,
droids
basically
becoming sentient. Like, they're sometimes they're more real than humans. It's weird. So I want to see more of that. And but his character and the way what he did and how he did it was brilliant. But the Mandalorian, look at him, has just been brilliant. Sorry for going across you, Jill.
No, if
the
we were to
soundtrack
talk,
I'm not much for. I wasn't much for stuff. I didn't really think on soundtracks before I've learned a lot since doing Pubcast. Like, I never used to know any directors. I never used to go and see what other directors did. Not realize that each director has their own. You can see it through all their movies that they have this one thing they do. And I never really listened to soundtracks until after doing Pubcast. But Mandalorian, I think it's that intro every time I hear it. I've even played it here constantly while watching work while working. That has done it for me, and it's kind of like the sound sets it up, and then the TV show is just brilliant. Like, all the different characters, Mandalorian, everything. I've enjoyed. As I said, Jill was saying, like, the people they've got from Rebels to come back. Sorry.
Can I also say, in the finale, there was the little girl in me that had a bit of a teary-eyed moment, that there was the Mando doing his thing, and then the 4 people storming the fucking spaceship were the 4 badass women. And like, Ming-Na Wen is fucking, like, between Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Mando, like, that woman is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And she's like...
The cavalry. I loved her in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I loved her
in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I love her even more in Mando. And to see the 4 women, the 2 Mandalorians, Gina Carano and Ming-Na Wen, come out of that ship and just lay waste to all the fucking troopers around them and just plow through. I was just like, oh my god.
And it puts in contrast to that really forceful scene in Avengers Endgame, where all of a sudden the women just arrive in together, and it's just very staged and very heavy-handed.
Yes, whereas this doesn't seem that staged. Cool. Like, they're just in to get the job done.
Yeah, and they were literally full on through, like, and you had your different character classes. You had your barbarian, you had your rogue, you had your 2 fucking, like, you know, fighters that were just the two Mandalorians. You had Gina Carrera, who, like, there has been a lot of controversy over her as a person.
Yes.
Not so much her in the show.
Fortunately.
Her character's great, but the individual is becoming more and more of a shit show. But as the finale went on, it's been building, that this season's been building to and hinting at some big thing happening in the finale. A return.
Who's going to collect?
In particular, who was going to pick up the child? Who was going to, after the child reached out through the Force at the top of a Jedi temple, who was going to come collect him? There's all this guessing of what was going to happen, because in Ahsoka Tano's episode, she asked the governor of that planet where Thrawn was. Now, if you've watched Rebels, you know that Thrawn and Ezra Bridger vanished off into the great beyond together, and they were nowhere to be seen. They were gone at the end of that show.
Yeah.
So for her to be hunting for Thrawn, that means that Ezra's out there somewhere as well.
Where's Ezra?
And when she said, if you bring him to the top of that temple and he reaches out to the Force, maybe a Jedi Knight might hear him.
Yeah.
I was thinking
all these ideas of what would happen.
Yeah.
And the people were saying Ezra, people were saying an aged and battle damaged Mace Windu, people were saying Luke Skywalker.
Kanan Jarrus. Yeah.
Kanan Jarrus is Force Ghost or whatever.
Yeah, you know.
So there's moments throughout the finale that happened for me that were very representative of class. This is the thing what Filoni has done, and Jon Favreau have done so well with this season of Mandalorian. This season in particular, they have reached back into Star Wars lore of yesteryear, expanded the universe, video games, books, everything. And they've plucked ideas out of those pieces of media, and they've brought them in and made them canon.
Made them work as well, not like plucked them and made them a bit ridiculous. Like they've actually written them in a believable way, as believable as a space opera is. Yeah,
very plausible to the degree that exactly like it's sci-fi. But the moment I saw the Dark Trooper droids, this whole season has been moment after moment where I've sat there as a Star Wars fan going, this is what the sequel film should have been. This is what the sequel film should have been. This is what the sequel film should have been.
Were they in the books, Wayne? Because that's
the Dark Troopers came from the Dark Forces video game. The Dark Forces video game was where the Dark Troopers came from originally, in my mind, as far as my memory serves. My memory can be patchy at times and has been of late. But if I'm not mistaken, it's the Dark Forces video game is where the Dark Trooper droids came from. They featured elsewhere in different variations in the comics, right, as well, and sometimes in certain books. But they mainly started in the video games with Kyle Katarn. Now, that's what got my mind racing. If the Dark Trooper droids exist, does Kyle Katarn exist in this universe? Right? The Dark Saber carried on from... There was a Darksaber book from the expanded universe that led into whatever happened in the Rebels cartoon or the Clone Wars to the Rebels cartoon, whereas Bo-Katan left Rebels with the Darksaber.
Yeah.
And then we don't know how Moff Gideon got it, but clearly he bested her in battle.
He
and got
defeated
it
her in
from
some
her.
way, shape, or
Yeah.
form.
So as soon as he engaged, because Moff Gideon is, the thing about it is he's so smart. Moff Gideon is probably one of the best Imperial bad guys we've seen in a very, very long time. And for
He
the
didn't die.
limited amount of screen time he's had.
In the last episode, when he said to Mando, he was like, "Assume I know everything."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh shit! Like he's proper.
He's the closest thing we've gotten to a live action Tron. Like he is the closest thing we've gotten to a live action Tron, but he's a bit different to Tron, is that Tron is calculated, and we've seen, and they captured, and this is the thing about Tron in the Rebels cartoon. They did him so perfectly in the cartoon that if they were to do in live action, if they don't copy that and don't get Filoni to follow up with that, that's a big deal.
I thought he was going to appear at the end.
That's going to be Ahsoka Tano's. That's going to be her show. That's what she's going to do in her show. More than likely, we're going to see Thrawn and Ezra Bridger in Ahsoka Tano's TV series.
Yeah.
So with the finale of Mandalorian, when they started to kind of hint at what was going to happen, and then it happened.
Yeah.
As soon as, like, everything that built up with the Dark Troopers attacking the bridge, they finally got the child. They had Moff Gideon at their mercy, and now Din Djarin was now the owner of the Darksaber, and Bo-Katan couldn't do anything about it.
Oh, but she had that look that she was thinking of killing him.
She was conflicted, heavily conflicted, but she's a character. The thing about Bo-Katan is that she's a character of honor. She is pure honor. That's what she's about. She's the closest thing you're going to get to a law-abiding Klingon in the Star Wars universe. But
But for Mando to go, here you go, I don't want it, was just kind of like, oh, man.
That was mirroring. That mirrored Sabine in the Rebels cartoon. Yeah. It mirrored it perfectly. Sabine didn't want it either. Sabine was like, fucking take it. But eventually, Sabine, Bo-Katan, she folded and took it from her. So that's how she got it in the first place. And it was mirroring that heavily. But the moment that broke me in the season finale was as soon as they noticed there's a ship coming out of hyperspace, and that one X-Wing, that solo X-Wing flew into shot. I lost it.
Woohoo!
I was like, you know the joke trailer that people did when the Force Awakens trailer came out and they intercut it with Matthew McConaughey from Interstellar?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And it was him just crying.
Yeah.
That was me. I was sitting there going, I knew straight away who it was.
Yeah.
As soon as that one X-Wing came out of hyperspace and started to land into the loading dock.
You might as well just have played. Dun, 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 dun.
They didn't play this music. I was still in doubt until I seen the glove. And then I'm like, then I did my, because they do this, certain things will trick you for a bit. But when I seen that, like, they didn't, why aren't they showing his face? So it might not be him. But when I seen the glove, that's when I did my woohoo.
Oh, yeah, that was it. I was like, when they
There's no way they could have some guy, I just put this glove on.
Yeah, it's with the green lightsaber. The first thing you see is the lightsaber. You see him in shadow, and you see him in
not a green lightsaber went.
Yeah,
I went from sitting like this to like.
Yeah.
So, but the beautiful thing as well, what they did, which I think was fucking genius, they mirrored the end of Rogue One. So as soon as basically what happens is when he comes in, you see him coming in, he takes out the Dark Trooper droids on the bridge, but that lift arrives up and that door opens, and he's on that long corridor, and the lightsaber ignites. Yeah. That was a pure mirror of what happened at the end of Rogue One with Vader.
Yes,
and even down to the fighting techniques and the saber swings and the reaching out and crushing the droid.
That's what kind of tricky. I was like, that's a bit angry.
I mightn't have clocked it as quickly, only for the fact that there's been a meme doing the rounds at the moment, and it's like, 2020 is nearly over. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and then it's like the light at the end of the tunnel. Is that still?
It's just Vader with the
saber.
Yeah. So, like, I was in tatters. It was like. It was the frustration of the year that we've had, the frustration at the sequel films, the representation of Luke that we got, and now seeing Luke in his prime, doing what we've never seen him do on live action.
Yeah,
like we've seen him fight. The only thing we ever saw Luke unleash himself on was that unbelievable fight at the end of Return of the Jedi. And that was Luke coming to the realization of his powers. This is Luke now at the height of his powers, and it's the only time we've gotten to see it in live action. And that broke me. As a Star Wars fan, as a nerd, it was just, I was done. I was in bits. I was sitting here, it was like fucking 8:30 in the morning. I was looking at this, I was just like, oh my God.
The Niagara Falls moment.
Niagara Falls, Frankie baby. Angel. It just was unreal. And then, now, I will say this, it's not all fucking cake and sunshine here for me.
No.
Okay? It's not. He arrives in, the door's open. We had that beautiful moment with Din Djarin and the child where they were saying goodbye. And as a dad, that stuff hit home for me big time. Because you can see the pain in his face that he's letting go of this kid that he's known.
He took off the helmet for the first time.
Well, I think that's now going to be a thing where he just takes off the helmet willy-nilly. I think that going forward now, season 3,
I think they shouldn't have taken off the helmet up until then. Even though it's still meant.
There was a plot point for it doing it previously, but this was quite a poignant moment.
Say goodbye. Yeah, I understand.
Now, I will say this. As much as I loved seeing a young Mark Hamill on screen, I found the CGI to be quite choppy, right? If I was to have one complaint about this, I found it was like everything from the nose up looked like it was just a dead face. It's like it was literally, we'll go back to Darren's Goodbye Horses moment where somebody literally cut the skin off and was wearing the top part of Mark Hamill's head.
Before he spoke, like when there was the initial reveal, I went, oh my God. And then as soon as he started speaking, I was like, there's like his upper lip is moving.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
it was very uncanny valley. There was
no expression in his face.
Yeah.
There was no light behind the eyes. And Mark Hamill, even as I was saying this earlier, even as Luke Skywalker, is still very expressive. And it took me out of it, to be honest. I was so excited to see Luke and so excited to see, obviously, how they represented it in CGI. And I was like, oh, really, lads?
Yeah, it was a big letdown.
Out of the moment for a second.
I guarantee, give it 48 hours and somebody will deep fake the bollocks out of that and it will look phenomenal.
Do you think they'll digitally redo it like they did with your man in the jeans that was coming, to pick up something after work that he forgot? And then thank God
I think there's a very good chance that Disney will go back and rework that for in future. Who knows what the situation is around the CGI? Who knows what the situation is around it, right? There's could be multiple explanations for it. I thought that was probably the weakest thing about the episode was the CGI.
I agree.
Recently, there was a re-release or it was a fan deepfake of all the CGI from Rogue One, where they got Peter Cushing and they deepfaked him as Grand Moff Tarkin.
Brilliant.
And it was as if Peter Cushing had come back to life. And I think the technology is out there. I just don't know what the situation is. Maybe it's just the cost. Maybe it's the budget. I don't know. But if fans
I say it's COVID as well. Maybe they were rushing it.
But if fans are deep faking this stuff with the ability, but if fans are able to do it in their own home with their systems, even if they're high render, if they have a small render farm in their house.
Stopping this.
This is Lucasfilm. It's Lucasfilm doing this, right? Yeah. These are the people that created special effects.
You think they got the intern to do it?
CGI special effects for cinema. So
it was disappointing.
And again, it's a small gripe, okay? Because we got this finale. Yeah. We got the return of a character that the last iteration we got of him was a bitter old man. And now we have Luke in his prime. We may not see Luke again showing up in these shows. Maybe we might see him in one of the many other Star Wars shows that are coming down the line.
There's talk, sorry Wayne for cutting across you, there is talk of if they wanted to continue to get the guy that was standing there, the guy that got, I can't remember the actor's name, that stood in and then had that CGI, because he looks a lot like Mark Hamill, to come back if in the future and maybe play Luke without the CGI.
Well, there was a lot of fans asking for Sebastian Stan to be cast as Luke Skywalker, because there's all these different photoshops of they just got Sebastian Stan's face and put Mark Hamill's hair on it and it looks like him.
And he's already done a robot arm.
Exactly. He's got the robot arm part down. So who knows? But
when that door, sorry Wayne, when that door, I could feel the emotions, but I was like, that's not getting emotional. Until that door closed and the credits came up, and then I was like, oh, that's it. For Yoda and Mando, it's for baby Yoda and Mando. I'm hoping in the future something will happen But that's when I kind of went, a little kind of felt a little sad.
Well,
But there's talk of like.
They did have their after credit sequence. Did you watch the after credit sequence?
Oh yeah. I never. One thing I have learned is, it may be in a while since I've been in the cinema, but you never go till the credits are over.
Yeah.
So the after credit sequence was, and there's a question here as a Star Wars fan, and there's a question of continuity here for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So Boba Fett arrives back at what was formerly Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
With Fennec in tow.
Yeah.
And they go in, and it looks like it's Bib Fortuna sitting on the throne, the former throne of Jabba.
Yeah.
But Bib Fortuna was on the sail barge when it blew up.
He was.
So who the fuck was that sitting in the throne? Was that like? And there was some beautiful thing about it, though, right? The staff that he had.
Yeah.
Right. That staff that was supposedly Fat Bib Fortuna had in the show, that didn't show up in the film. But the action figure of Bib Fortuna had that staff. So even though he wasn't like, you never see Bib Fortuna with that staff in the films and stuff. That's what that twisted kind of with the kind of cylindrical thing at the top. That came with the action figure, which is kind of cool. But I thought maybe Bib Fortuna survived the sail barge and took over Jabba's kind of realm. But it's nice to see. It's going to be like there was a comic book called Star Wars Underworld, which was dealing with the subterfuge and the different things about the dark sun and all that type of stuff within Star Wars, which is like the underbelly and the crime syndicates and stuff like that. So
there was going to be a computer game that they was going to be.
That was
and that got cancelled too.
It got canned. It was a computer game based on a Mandalorian going into the bowels of Coruscant, and there's multiple pieces of it out there. You can look at videos on YouTube. You look at different things of footage and stuff, and it looked fantastic. But it got canned when Lucasfilm was bought out. So
can I ask you a question? Because you know a lot about Star Wars, and there's one thing that's been it kind of bugging me, but not bugging me. But Boba Fett's armor was trashed for ages.
Yeah.
And then he gets it back, and then it's next scene it's redone. And I'm just like I can understand it from he got new armor and he wants to paint it up, but I'm just going in the books. Was there a reason why it took so like?
Well, there was nothing. So Boba Fett in the books was a different story altogether. There was no real idea of him being a clone. That came in with the prequels. So, I mean, I think it's a case of this, Darren, very similar to your 4K, your 40K story. Mm-hmm. During lockdown, everyone has a lot of time to paint. So I think Boba Fett had a lot of time to paint the armor, and he was able to get it back up to scratch. But it's been a long time. Boba Fett's armor was always scuffed. And I think he was just fuck it. He's like, fuck it, I'm going to give it a
He's a
paint
badass,
job.
so, but like, I do like the armor, but I just kind of was there. Yeah, he probably had a few nights to kill and just said, you know what, I'll just spray paint it. Forgot I had my old 40k army there that I haven't touched, but
that's it. I mean, he's been on Tatooine for the last fucking God knows how long. So, I mean, although it hasn't been that long if you think about it, right? So he's been on Tatooine since the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
So Return of the Jedi, this is meant to be a couple of years after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
So he actually hasn't been out of action. But no, he hasn't been out of action that long. But he probably has been eating a lot of banta meat, hence the punch. But we don't know.
I noticed that, but he kicked ass, so it didn't matter.
He did. No, he was whopper. His return was fucking phenomenal. Tamara Morrison coming back is almost brilliant casting, or choice to cast him as him. And it was great to see it was beautiful. What's the word I'm looking for? Or the phrase I'm looking for? It was a nice kind of misdirection to have Timothy Oliphant turn up at the start of the season.
Yeah, because I said, that's
as the sheriff. Yeah, as in the Boba Fett armor. But his character is actually from one of the books, in the book by Chuck Wendig, Aftermath. Or I think it's the Aftermath series, but there's at the very first couple of books that came out from Disney when they first bought Star Wars was following up from The Force Awakens or leading into The Force Awakens or whatever. Okay. And his character showed up in those books.
Right.
So they took the character from the books and they just brought him onto the screen. So that's what I'm talking about. That type of kind of, it's respect, but it's also mining of the properties that they're putting out there.
Yeah, utilizing all the other stories that they have available to them, and not just for the sake of keeping the fans happy. They are obviously good fucking stories that they should be using. And I am all for Timothy Ollie fantastic and everything,
I do. He played the character extremely well, and it was good to see his back and forth with the Mando, and hopefully he does return at some point because, like, I mean, they managed to do it without, like, every other character that he met along the way in season 1 turned up again in season 2. I will say this. The one thing that I did not like, Bill Burr. It took me out of it. I like Bill Burr. I like Bill Burr as Bill Burr, but Bill Burr's casting in season 1 as that character took me out of that episode, and again his return took me out of this episode because he basically was a completely different character.
I didn't know who Bill Burr was, so
yeah,
I didn't recognize the face.
I've listened to his podcast on and off, and I've watched his his comedy shows. He's a really good comedian. But the thing about it is that there's a famous thing with Bill Burr that he denounced Star Wars long before he was cast in The Mandalorian. He was like, look, I don't like Star Wars. Apart from Empire Strikes Back, I don't like Star Wars. But there's a beautiful thing that somebody did, right?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah,
somebody got that audio clip of him denouncing Star Wars, and they intercut it into the scene where they're all standing around, looking at the refinery, saying, "How are we going to get in here?" and stuff like that. So it's his character talking to all the other characters, the Mando, Boba Fett, the Dropper, and Fennec, and he's like turning around going, "Look, Star Wars," and blah blah blah, and it intercuts with their dialogue. So their dialogue in the show is part of the conversation. I'll send it on to you. It's very well done. It's very funny. Yeah. But Bill Burr in the show just took me out of his episodes because he's Bill Burr. It's like he's meant to be a gripey Bostonian. That's what he is. You know,
yeah, he was an ass. I actually loved it because he was you seen in the first episode. Obviously, you see him in season 1. I didn't like him one bit. But one thing I didn't think I would, but I could actually see from his perspective of why he liked being in the Empire and being a soldier and the comradeship of other stormtroopers. I don't think I ever would. That's the one thing I'm going to take from that, is I would have never seen that. I always viewed them as idiots that can't shoot. But
they did drive home the idea that the helmets are the reason why they can't shoot.
Yeah. I hate wearing helmets. I can't. It's fucking brilliant. Yeah. But no, also the fact that, like, there's a reason why they have joined the Empire, and, like, they're not as evil. The people that are in it aren't as. There's no such thing as evil. They're doing it for a reason. But I got to see it from from a stormtrooper's perspective more, which I kind of like in the movies. That was kind of taken out, where they were just, you're doing it or else. Whereas I'm like, but not like, whereas it's like people join for a reason and whatnot. So, but that's why I'm glad I didn't see him in his other stuff, because I was just like, okay, for ages I was looking at him going, do I know this guy from somewhere? And I never went and checked. And then season 2, he wasn't an evil character. He was like, there was a reason why for his bitterness, and you got to see that. And I think it was great. Like, as I said, the only thing is I think that the helmet got taken off a bit, like, I think too much. But at the end, there was a reason. I would have totally done it as well. But
also, I suppose maybe it's because I've watched Rebels to death that, like, Mandos take their helmets off all the time.
Yeah, like they iterate. Like when he meets Bo-Katan, Bo-Katan's like, you're a member of that kind of like you're the cult section of the Mandos. They don't take off their helmets. Like you're indoctrinated, motherfucker. And then he kind of starts to come around. Like he's slowly but surely losing his over indoctrination, which makes me really look forward to season 3, because if you look at the end of season 2, he has the Darksaber. He is the rightful ruler now of Mandalore. Yeah. So is it a case of now season 3 is just going to be the Mando Wars? Is that what it's going to be? Because like if you've watched Rebels and you've seen the intricate stories of the Mandos in Rebels and with Sabine, are we going to get Sabine in season 3? Are they going to go visit her family? Are they going to go visit her family home? Or is that what's going to be? Like Bo-Katan returns? Are we going to get Kevin McKidd to turn up? Like, come on, like,
Oh my God!
Think about it. Like, because they're all these actors are in there. Like, if they brought back fucking Starbuck as Bo-Katan, they're going to bring back other people that have played Mandos.
Lucius Reigns as a Mando.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was great in that, actually.
His character was fucking fantastic. He's a phenomenal, and even bring back Boba. Bring back Boba. Boba's like, his whole thing, like, you're not a Mando. He'll fucking prove that he's a Mando.
He's getting a series though, isn't he?
He is. Well, he have the Book of Boba, but it's a case of, if there's going to be, like, he's like, I never said I was a Mando. like that type of stuff, like, you know.
Yeah.
But he is though. Regardless, I love.
For the longest time, for everyone in everyone's Star Wars fans' mind, he was the Mandalorian. He was the sole Mandalorian. It's the whole point of everyone was like, look at his cool armor. This dude looks amazing. He's got a rocket pack. What the fuck? You know, that's the like Boba Fett is the reason why the Mandalorian story got bigger, because that one solitary character sat in the background and caught people's eye. And they tried to plant that. Lucasfilm were smart and George Lucas was smart. They tried to plant characters in the background in the prequels and forced it. But it didn't work.
They forced it.
Yeah. Right, we better bring Kim back before we lose her.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
So we had our Star Wars conversation, Kim. We talked about all the spoilers. We talked about different things. So you don't have to worry about that.
I love how animated you were, but you obviously weren't thirsty because my internet connection was fucking shocking during that.
Nobody really should be thirsty about during that chat. My loins weren't frothing for anybody, so sorry, I let the side down.
Because Gina Carano and Pedro Pascal
Gina Carano is gorgeous, but she's a bit of a crack human, though. Like,
she's
disappointed.
Yes,
Kevin Sorbo disappointed.
Yeah.
There's an irony in saying Kevin Sorbo disappointed when it comes to Kevin
Sorbo.
Yeah.
Speaking of scummy humans,
it's absolutely intended. It's the same kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
So you had that conversation. So I'm
we
going
did
to see
it.
all
You're safe.
that stuff over Christmas.
Well, here's the thing, Kim, and this may not make it into this won't make it into the recording. But Kim, I will happily send you my fucking Disney Plus login details to use Disney Plus at home. You're not
so cute. No, I'm a fool idiot. I want to pay for things. Hey Jill, gas story. All those Dropbox details due in the last year. That's not the email address.
That's not your email address.
Oh, so some random person's been getting them all.
Is my email address, but it turns out I used some mad email address for my Dropbox. Why? So I want to apologize. You're wasted labor. Because I only just realized I used some weird burner account for Dropbox.
So I would have been better off. So I would have been better off putting them on a USB and posting them to you.
You would have been better off trying to send them by fucking pigeon.
Better off stapling it to a and sending it over the rainbow. Is what you would have. Yeah.
Why am I thinking of that Scrooge episode where Scrooge tells him to staple the horns onto the mouse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
we become Scrooge.
Let's get back to it after Jill fixes her head. What do you do?
Sorry, my head is roasting.
I was gonna say it's very warm, but I forget. Like we're not actually in a pub. But yeah.
Sorry, Jill. How's your head?
It's I've had no complaints.
Yay! Diggity.
I dyed my hair today, so it's like my roots are gone, so I look like a full-on ginge. It's really funny. Like my sister has joked multiple times about how she's had to explain to friends of hers that her sister isn't really a ginge.
The thing about it is that because you've got fake eyelashes, the carpet matches the curtains. So I mean,
fake eyebrows, you mean?
Yeah, eyebrows. Yeah. Sorry.
Hang on, you're not really a natural redhead.
Yeah, Jill, you're breaking hearts. You're breaking hearts all over the internet right now. I hope
my hair is naturally dirty blonde, but I started dyeing my hair at 15, so it's been various shades of red longer than it was its natural color.
Those hearts got slightly mended when you said you're a dirty blonde. Dirty. Dirty blonde.
Well, this is the fake beard. Oh no, it's not.
So Wayne, I was known as Red and the Red Menace. I was Red for quite a while, and then I realized I had enough fire going on that I could just let the genuine redheads take it from here. And
I have no soul. That's why I dyed my hair, to warn people.
There you go.
Well, that's good. You have nature indicators, yeah.
So, I mean, as we round off the year and we move on to another one, Christmas seems to be something of a bit of a solace for a lot of people with family and friends, and everyone's enjoying themselves a bit more. And I know I've spent a lot more money on booze this Christmas. Oh, we lost Kim there.
No, she's back.
I lost your audio there at the end.
We lost your audio, Kim. You said something and we missed it.
Oh, it was probably very important.
Could have been.
Probably really wise.
So, I mean, it's a case of we're looking back on things that have kind of kept us going. And the one thing I think that kept all of us going throughout it on multiple situations and multiple different scenarios has been Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
I had never played D&D before I played with you guys. Like I had dipped my toe in tabletop role play many years ago with friends of mine. We played loosely based on a GURP system, and I was that dickhead who would take the piss out of people who played tabletop. But D&D always fascinated me. So when you said, "Oh, let's do Pubcast plays D&D, would you like to be involved?" I was like, "Fuck it, yeah!" And I have thoroughly enjoyed it. And I think the bunch of people that we play with, yourselves, Naomi, Ryan, Tom, and then the couple of guests that we've had, has just made it so enjoyable. Like, Wayne, I know you've said multiple times that you're the DM, but you're not a stickler for the rules. You're gonna do what works for our game.
Yeah.
And it's been all about the crack. And I think myself and Kim were both complete noobs going in, and I still consider myself a bit of a noob even a year and a half later, nearly a year and a half later. But
I'm a noob to 5th ed, but I used to play back in the day a lot of 3rd ed. Woo!
Thanks, Aaron.
So we have a thing in our for anyone.
Mentions.
Yeah.
We have a bear every time I mention
none of us
3rd ed.
finished that. Yeah, none of us. Yeah, so it's a thing in our weekly game or bi-weekly game or whatever that. When Jill and Kim is involved, it's definitely a bi-weekly game. But so in the bi-weekly game that we have, it's a case of if Darren mentions 3rd ed, we all take a shot or a drink or whatever.
Because we generally have like at least one beer of a Wednesday if we're doing our non-pub game. And I think like the Pubcast game is really good, and it's been wonderful to video together and put it up on YouTube, and we've gotten some fantastic feedback. Like, people are involved obviously in the prize and the competition, thanks again Dublin City Comics, but some of the comments that we've gotten about our characters and how we play the characters from the guys who have left comments on YouTube has been really really lovely to see. And then when lockdown happened and you, Wayne, suggested that we have our own our own game, the Wild Mountain ourselves, I was like, sure, fuck it, why not? And the fact that like it's the same group of people, but we're all playing different characters. Like, I love Lil Crea so much. I do.
You do.
I do. I want to and I can't do it every Wednesday because I still have a day job that I have to log into from home. But I just want to drink wine and eat all the cheese while we're playing.
In full character. I think if
you get shit. You want to torch shit.
And
are you pretending you don't want to torch shit?
I want to burn everything.
But the thing about it, La Crea, no, and I don't mean this as a slight in any way, shape, or form. It's more of a compliment. But I think La Crea is the closest thing to you as a D&D character. That's the thing. You're
way more posh than me.
Yeah, no, but she's still like she's a red-skinned tiefling sorceress.
Sure.
So I mean, like it's and she's like, she doesn't take any shit, and she just, like, anyone that gives her shit, you're on fire. Good luck to you. So
Do you not think it is stunning how nurturing we all find Jill's barbarian in the main campaign?
But it's funny, like
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I knew the rules that were supposed to apply to Aratir, the fact that she is half orc and the fact that she's a barbarian. And I think somebody on YouTube made a comment saying how refreshing it was to see somebody who doesn't adhere to the normal trope.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's just because
Smashy.
that's because I'm a noob and there's a bit of me in Aratir. But I think it's lent itself quite well to our game. But also, I suppose, Wayne, you got us all to write backstories for our characters, and I think it plays to Aratir's backstory quite well as well, because she's not a regular half orc. Like she didn't have a typical, well, in as far as I know, a typical upbringing.
No.
Like she has a broader understanding of the world, and then the fact that she went off and went, fuck this, I'm going to see some of the world and do some questing and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, she has become, despite the fact that she is a barbarian, she has been the voice of reason on more than one occasion, and the fact that the likes of Codeine and Loran will turn to her and go, well, what do you think, Aratir? Even though she should be all smashy.
Yeah, but it's like that's it. Like, and it's a case of
That's
the beauty. That is the beauty of Dungeons and Dragons. It's not a case of you have to play the norm. Like it's so many adventures can happen. It's the beauty of it, and I think it's the world of Dungeons and Dragons, or the idea of Dungeons and Dragons, has found a resurgence during all of this because people are able to play it like this.
Yes.
People have found. Currently right now, I'm running 3 Dungeons and Dragons games for people.
Yeah.
Thanks, Wayne.
It's not about like.
I mean,
What I want to say just like the Wildman game that we've been doing each week has been just has just been great to kind of forget about the world. And when you said, Darren, so I was dreading what you were going to give me, and it was like, Darren, you get to be a goblin barbarian. I was like, yes, because I get to run amok. I don't need. I can. As much as the little rules I know, I get to let you guys do everything, and occasionally I'll, like, if you're polymorphed into a drow, which I can't wait for the next session to kind of, like, I feel like that when I got polymorphed into that drow, that's why I was kind of acting the way I did, because the polymorph was messing with me noggin. But all the other times I get to just not think and just have fun and do silly things like eat tomatoes when I damn well know at a character that I'm going to get fucked up by them.
So for anyone, like, obviously this is a personal game that we play, and people don't know what happened. This is not the Pubcast game. So Darren's character Gurk is a goblin barbarian of limited intelligence.
Yes.
And he found himself in a conservatory that was filled with enchanted fruits and vegetables.
And the Kriya told him not to.
And the Kriya told him, don't fucking eat anything. And he ate a tomato. Enchanted tomato that was dripping with arcane energy, and it turned him into a goblin centaur. So he's basically a Shetland pony version of a centaur, as with a goblin body, and has been for the majority of this campaign because they can't find the cure. So that's what he's fallen into. That's the kind of shit that his character gets in, because Gurk doesn't. Circumstances be damned, he's out to have a good time.
I have to bring this up, but I got a phone. Well, Gurk got a phone call a while ago, and it was Grogu, and he was saying, like, he has a problem where he doesn't know what way to eat these eggs, and I was like, you just do it. You just don't think, and you just
throw it in.
Just eat those eggs, and you just don't think, or maybe just eat one, and then joke about eating the rest.
2 things. The things that made D fun are, number 1, 5th Ed, number 2, Wayne Talbot, because I lived in a house with people that calculated how much they were carrying at any moment, and there's a reason for that, and that is a source of solace for some people that are trying to do it as a realistic, as a kind of a life simulator, but in this universe, and that's valid. But for people that haven't got the experience, calculating how much money you can carry at any moment is gonna take you out of what your character is gonna do next. And you have made it very organic and very easy for us to do.
Yeah.
And and I just want to throw it out there: Ray Preventer for a one-shot character. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Tag him, timestamp him. Ray,
Yeah.
you're here.
There is like, I mean, I'm running a couple of other games, and there's another me and the lads are playing where I'm actually playing an alien RPG, which is fucking fantastic. Been run by a good friend of mine, Adam Kelly, who's doing a fantastic
Do
job
they
as a
mean
DM.
more to you? Do they love you like we do? Do they give you what you
No, like the thing about it is
do?
that
You're role playing with other people.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you.
Here's the thing.
What is it that they
This
give
is
to you?
this is the difference. This is the difference between me and like the D&D games that we play and this particular Aliens game. I'm a player. I'm not a DM.
Be a player.
I'm not a DM.
Ah.
Adam is the DM.
I've
I'm
been
not a
taught to
DM.
hate the game and not the player.
So
you
I
at
get
least think
to-
of us, right?
I get to play the game. I get to play, and it's the Aliens RPG, which is phenomenal. It's really, really good fun. If you ever have the chance to play it, folks, fucking do it. It's really good crack. We're using the Roll20 website to play the game. So
As a player.
what?
What are you like as a player? I've only ever seen you as a DM. What are you like as a player? Are you munchkin-y?
No,
She does
I mean,
really cool voices.
I chew up. I act out. I act. So I tend to play the character.
I fucking knew it.
Yeah. So I have to. But I mean, okay, the character I'm playing in the Aliens RPG that I'm playing at the moment, I'm playing a female pilot who's a drug addict.
Right.
And
Fuck the drugs.
she basically has to find her fix in adrenaline, and that's pretty much what she does. And she's the pilot of the ship, a mining ship that has been sent to rescue the crew of another ship that has been lost in space for 60 years. And you basically get pulled out of hypersleep, you land, and the ship is there. It's the opening salvo of the Alien RPG, apparently. And this is my first foray into this game. I've never played the Alien RPG before. I've read the book because our own Naomi Ryan very kindly bought it for me for Christmas last year, and I've read it from cover to cover multiple times, but I've never had a chance to play it. So this is my first chance to play it, and it is a cracking series of games. So myself, Adam Kelly is the DM and doing a great job at it. Stephen Mooney and Jamie Tehan, the four of us are playing this together. And
those guys.
But I have to give them props because Jamie Tehan and Stephen Mooney, bar the Star Trek Adventures RPG game we did 2 years ago, they have never played anything like this. They never played RPGs. But I will say this, they're enjoying this so much that Adam Kelly, at the end of their last session, said, right, you guys enjoyed this so much, you now have to play a game of Dungeons & Dragons with Wayne as the DM, and we're all going to be player characters. So that has to happen off this. So we've sowed the seeds. So we're now going to have...
Gateway drug.
It is a gateway drug. And I think if Dungeons & Dragons is your gateway drug, no better fucking drug for you, because in this whole situation that we've all been in this year, D&D has been...
Bagsy role as a one-time tavern wench who was inappropriate with Jamie Tehan.
That's fine. I think you'd be all for that, all for that.
Foaming jugs of ale. Foaming jugs of ale.
Can we all just guest on to play characters and harass the boys?
Yeah, that's totally on.
Harassment in the highest.
Totally on. I think they'll be totally on for that. But the thing about this is that like Dungeons and Dragons, video games, Dungeons and Dragons, certain movies, a lot of TV shows, my family, and I can include you all in that when I say my family, have gotten us all through this entire thing.
Psychic hug.
It's been a poxy year for a lot of reasons, but it's been goodness. There's been greatness in there. There's been friendship. There's been family, and that's what we need to get us through this.
Yeah.
And we will continue to get through this because of those reasons. Yeah. And that's what we need. We need community. And I think when we come out of the other side of this, we will realize that. And that's what's important for all of us, a community. We will get back to our conventions. We will get back to what it was before. We will get back to seeing our friends and being in the same room together and playing Dungeons and Dragons in the same room together. That will all happen. Because I can't believe all of us living in a world that it won't happen. You know?
It's nerds, sweet nerds.
Yeah. And like that's what it is. That's what it's always been for us. I mean, we are very lucky that we've had those outlets. And I think at the start of all of this, when somebody said, you know, we have to stay in our homes and we can't leave. And I saw all these memes online, but within the artist circles and the comic book people circles, where they're like, I can't leave my house for like 12 hours on end. Oh no,
Yeah.
whatever will I do?
Happy days.
People that are in our circles and are in our circle of friends and do what we do, we have the coping mechanisms to a degree because we have the friendships that we have, and we have the outlets that we have. We can go online like this and we can do our podcasts, we can play our video games, we can play our board games. Tabletop Simulator will save us every week when we want to play Hero Quest till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, or Gloomhaven or whatever. We have the likes of Dublin City Comics that work tirelessly to get our standing orders and our pull lists and our figures and whatever the hell we want out to us, because they're the core of the community. And, you know, fucking shop closures be damned and whatever. That's what it means. It's like, that's what we need. We need all of us together, pulling together to get ourselves through this. And we have that. And we've had that for the last 10 months, and we will continue to have it into the new year. So we all just need to have a good Christmas, reset our batteries, look after ourselves, be safe. Rewatch The Mandalorian if we have to from season 1, because, you know, that'll get us through it.
Yeah.
You know?
It is the way.
It is the way. It is the way. We've now been recording for nearly 2.5, 3 hours. So,
Woohoo!
as if we're drinking the third Ed, we should raise our glasses.
Something.
Yeah, go on.
We should raise our glasses. Wayne, I have gone out on a night out without a bra twice in my life, and both times have been Pubcast Christmas parties, because bra fascism is not enforceable at Pubcast Christmas parties. They don't want you locking that shit up. Let's do it. Let's do it. We are free. We are welcome to be who we want to be. And I miss you wonderful nerds. I hope you watched all the way until now.
Indeed.
We will see everyone again in 2021. We will continue doing what we're doing. Happy Christmas, everyone. Have a great night. Have a great couple of weeks.
Happy New Year.
And we will see you in 2021 at all the conventions we can go to, at all the shows we can be. Pubcast will be there. Road Comics will be there.
Yeah.
In some form or another, you know, because fuck it, like, you know, we need to be.
There's also these things called board games that I've got ideas for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we've got to play.
Yeah.
Get them shots.
So
Nerd essential workers. Let's do it.
stay safe. Look after yourselves.
Guys.
Have a good one.
Thanks for watching.
This has been Pubcast Christmas Special. I've been Wayne.
I've been
I've been
Jan.
drunk.
Kim, you got to sound off. You're frozen now. Kim is frozen in that face on the video.
I think she's just drank too much. She's got frozen
Oh,
face.
no, she's not. She's back now. She's back now. So,
I'm singing Jingle Bell. I'm singing Bell Rock this whole time.
okay. Folks, good night. Take it easy. Have a good one. Stay safe.
Good night.
Okay.